Hi, welcome to Suplex the Sticks, a gaming podcast hosted by David and Seth,
Hello.
and Forrest,
Howdy.
and Chris,
Hey!
and Andrea.
Hey yo!
Ooh.
The only podcast where Kratos can't tie shoes.
Well, he used to not be able
Yes.
to tie shoes.
On this episode, we do an investigative deep dive.
Cue the little little investigative
Yeah.
podcast music.
I'm Sarah Koenig.
Yeah.
Featuring Saga Anderson.
We are fresh off of watching the Game Awards 2023.
Boo.
Yeah,
The near sweep for Alan Wake.
So close.
Yeah, no, well, not really, because Saga didn't win the best performance at the beginning.
Well, sure.
But, game-wise, almost near sweep for Alan Wake 2. And then, no, because it lost action-adventure to Zelda.
Right.
Zelda winning action-adventure made me go, this isn't winning Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Which
You did say that.
Yeah.
bothered me.
Listen, that's all this to say. Alan Wake swept our hearts
Yeah, no,
and us off of our feet.
if you remember last year,
And
our plan was to record after the Game Awards, like we're doing now.
we didn't do it.
And we didn't do it
Reverse
because,
spoiler alert.
honestly, it was a bummer. And we were tired at the end of it. It felt way more grueling than this one did.
Yeah,
Even-
what happened last? What was the terrible game that won all the awards?
Hold on, I will consult Wikipedia. I don't think it was terrible. It definitely didn't have the pizzazz that this show had.
I think I feel less pizzazz this show.
Game of the Year was Elden Ring, which we kind of knew.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the one that should have won. But really, God of War and Elden Ring won everything that year. Besides Final Fantasy XIV winning a bunch of stuff too. But last year also, there wasn't as many cool announcements, I feel like. There definitely was some announcements, but...
Yes, I have a vague memory of Jeff Keighley hyping it up really big and then nothing was exciting.
Yeah, and most of these games we did not see again. Most of the games announced last year, we didn't even see again this year or at Summer Games Fest this year.
Actually, last year they announced Baldur's Gate 3.
Interesting.
Oh,
So
curious.
I am going to say, I'm going through, there was a lot of good announcements
There
last
was.
year.
I just don't remember. I'm
So I'm
taking
talking about the
everyone's
new
word
games
for it.
announced.
'Cause I don't
New
remember any
games
of it.
announced, they announced
Last year or this year?
last year.
Death Stranding.
Death
2.
Stranding 2.
Armored
Vampire
Core.
Survivors, which slaps.
I don't know if Armored Core 6 was actually revealed last year
That's
at
so-
the
Yeah.
Game Awards.
Yeah, it was.
I see Wikipedia saying it. I don't know
That's
if
They
so-
did the trailer for Mario Bros. Movie.
It's so weird that Death Stranding 2 was announced last year,
It is weird.
and then Kojima comes up this year and announces another new game.
And doesn't
Yeah.
mention Death Stranding at all. Hades 2
And
was
then,
announced last year.
and then there were
Yeah.
3 games that looked like they were going to be Death Stranding and turned into other things.
Hades 2 and Hellboy.
Hellboy.
Well, Hellboy came out. So Hades 2 and Transformers Reactive were both of the ones I was waiting for.
Yes. And then Street Fighter 6 got a release date, and you said you were going to EVO. I remember you screaming that at the TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
He did go to EVO.
No, I did in my heart. I really tried to play that game a lot and be good at it, and I really am not good at it. But I tried, and that's what counts.
And then the Dune Survival MMO, but you said we're not going to see that for 20 years.
I feel like we're not going to. I don't think we've heard anything about it since.
No.
Wasn't there another Dune game announced
Well,
3 years
Timothy
ago?
Chalamet
Yeah.
was at the awards, so maybe that was a
No, that
subtle
was
hint.
YouTuber modded controller Xbox
Yeah.
360.
That's right. That's right.
Phantom Liberty was announced last year, too.
Oh,
So it was a lot of stuff that preluded into
yeah. And a lot of stuff we felt the repercussions of this year.
yes.
And that is including Cyberpunk 2077 winning Best Ongoing Game. Which I guess if you don't finish a house and then you finish it eventually, it becomes the best house.
Yep.
I mean, it was an ongoing house.
I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
Listen, there's the oldest house, and then there's the ongoing.
No.
No.
The ongoingest
No.
house.
No,
The
no.
oldest house. No.
The oldest house is empty.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, so let's the pre-show, which I think Forrest was watching it on his phone.
Yeah. I was
While driving.
No.
While driving.
Well, yes. At work and then while driving.
We don't
And
support
drunk.
that, by the way. That's
If
our
it's any
disclaimer.
consolation, I was only visually watching it at
I mean,
stoplights.
I don't support it, but I
Do
also
it.
do
And-
it
Yeah.
too much.
Exactly.
He was only going 20 miles over the speed limit,
This is
and
the
he
first
only
Game
hit
Awards.
3 pedestrians.
It's true.
This is the first Game Awards where we didn't have to see the Joseph Ferris guy in a while.
Yeah, I was.
Who?
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
sad.
It Takes Two guy.
Yeah.
A Way Out guy.
I should have brought him back.
This
They brought Gonzo.
Yeah, we had the Muppets.
That was
instead.
bad.
that was not
What?
great.
He
I
liked
wanted it to
chickens.
be better.
There
That was a nice
There
little
was
bit.
no
Hey, man.
Fortnite.
Okay, hold
chicken.
on. I'd rather Gonzo than the Gillette Transformer robot ad guy.
Sure.
Bring
I
the
don't even know
ESPN
what that
robot or the NFL.
You don't
robot
remember?
every
They had
year.
a Gillette sponsorship, and there was a
the Schick
robot.
Yeah.
Hydrobot.
Yeah, oh, the Schick. Yeah, the Schick Hydrobot
Like the
thing.
shaving cream?
Yes. It was a robot next to Jeff, and it was like, hey, man.
I must have repressed
It was like
that.
when Logan Paul brings KSI out in like the Prime bottle.
I'd rather have KSI.
Yeah,
Prime.
me too. 100%. For the kids.
For the
So
kids.
there's some stuff on the pre-show. There's a cool-looking harmonium, the musical game.
That
although
trailer
that
made
song-
me tear up a little
That
bit.
song
I'm gonna
wasn't
be
very
honest.
good, but it's fine.
A lot of the animals made out of musical instruments.
Yeah,
that was
Neat
cool.
looking.
It's the thought of the meaning behind the music that counts.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
You know?
I prefer the music.
I think the game should just
In
be
front of the
no
meeting.
talking at all.
Well, I mean, the game is nearly that. If there
Yeah,
wasn't
but then
the
you
musical
added singing,
interpretation.
and then you ruined
I mean,
it
there
for
was no
me.
talking the first part of the trailer.
It's
Well,
not
right, and then
Square
you
Enix
added
is the
singing.
Quiet Man. I mean, it's
But really, what could be?
but what could be.
It just seems
Actually,
rude.
the behaviorist in me would say there was no vocalizations in the beginning of the game. There was talking.
There was.
We got a dope trailer for Persona 3 Reload, and
Right,
it's
right.
coming out on February 2nd.
She
David-
made that cringe joke.
David somehow did not
Oh.
know about it.
I knew I thought that they had just done an HD remaster. I didn't know that they were remaking the game.
Remake.
yeah.
Are they making it non-roguelike?
I don't know.
kind of?
No one knows.
That's what I want. I want it to be a custom or a tailored
set,
dungeon.
yeah.
I'll wait because the vibe is good for that game, and I like hearing the Persona sounds.
Yep,
That's
yep.
what matters to me.
Yes.
I like to hear the sounds
You did say that.
They're pleasing sounds after you spent so much time.
after you spent
Being pleased by
130
them.
hours.
Yeah.
playing.
I like how you
Stockholm
led
syndrome.
away from where it sounded like you were going.
So there was a lot of stuff that happened in this. Can we just talk about some of our favorite points on like what happened in general? Like probably my favorite part, I think a lot of people's at the table, was the Alan Wake 2 Old Gods of Asgard performance, which the Game Awards, Jeff has been obsessed with having musical artists be a part of this thing and them never really having a real place.
Yes. Only ever tangentially connected
Right,
to
like,
the actual games.
There was
if that.
There was one year that Green Day was there, and
I
there
was
wasn't
just thinking
even
about
really
that.
I
a
was thinking
game.
about Green Day,
There
too.
wasn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
really a game attached to it.
And like, let's be honest, the Green Day set list wasn't that good.
Right.
Not
And there was one year they had Imagine Dragons,
Ugh.
and at least the Imagine Dragons was the League of Legends show song or whatever.
Arcane. Yeah.
But this
This
was
year they
the-
just played Imagine Dragons every time someone was walking
Oh
up
my
to the
god!
stage.
Every time, especially when the people were coming up with games that had good game music.
Yeah. And you have a whole orchestra there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is very weird.
I'm pretty sure the orchestra only plays the one part where they
Yeah,
did
at
the
the
Game
end.
Awards theme. I guess they
But that
also
used to
they
not
also
be the
performed
case.
the Final Fantasy VII song.
But I feel like that used to not be the case.
No, I don't
feel
think
like the
so. I
orchestra
feel like they
played
used
a
to
lot
be
more.
they used to be in the pit playing throughout the whole thing.
The
Yeah.
pit.
He used to be in the pit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, old Gods of Asgard, I would have been in the pit. let's
Oh
be
yeah,
honest.
man.
The people did not stand up and applaud
They
for
didn't.
that.
That was
Which-
so frustrating to me.
Like, seriously, why do we have to act like? I know that Jeff like wants this to be the Oscars
Mm-hmm.
for gaming, but why do you have to act like it? Like,
We were applauding in my living room.
I know I was,
Seth was dancing.
Yeah.
Yes, we're,
Seth
yeah,
was
we're doing
dancing.
things.
Busted it down.
Yeah, I don't know.
but watching them do if. We're not going to do it the Alan Wake 2 spoiler cast tonight because Andrea hasn't played it. But
But we will. Spoil
I got
her
4 hours of
afterwards.
sleep last night so I could beat that game, and I thought I was going to be able to talk about it tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
but genuinely, that musical level is one of my favorite things I've ever played.
Same.
And the fact that I got to watch Sam Lake be up there with, he couldn't even keep the Alex Casey like stone faced grin while everyone else was in character.
Yeah.
Ilka, I can't remember his last name, but he's the
Really?
guy that is the body of Alan Wake at least.
To be fair, all the other
Dr.
people that were
Darling.
dancing were in black bodysuits.
And
Yeah.
right, but
it's
like
easy for them to stay in character.
right, but the people that were Warlindor and the other guy, the voice of Alan Wake were in character, and Sam Lake is up there with the largest smile
Yeah, he's
of the
just so
world.
happy.
It's so
He-
precious.
He
Yeah.
could not be, and I guarantee you that like in the DLC they're going to be like they're going to reference this or
Yeah.
something. Like it
There's
has.
going to be a scene where they're at the Game Awards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which raises the horrible thought that Jeff Keighley is going to be in Alan Wake.
No,
God.
don't,
Two deals.
Don't
do
say
this.
that.
Can you not?
Unless if he's trapped in the dark
He's-
place.
Maybe his.
I want to
dark
say
place-
something so bad,
I
but it's a
know.
spoiler and I can't say
Maybe
it.
his dark
I mean, I'll
place
go
is the
outside.
Game
No, it's
Awards.
okay. It's
Like
What if he is
No.
Mr. Scratch?
I also want him to be alive, Jeff.
Yeah, okay, yes.
At
Okay.
the
That's a
end-
start.
I was like,
But no, but at the end of everything that maybe was exciting, he's like, "Wow, that's
Yeah,
cool."
I don't think he knows how to articulate. I've already ran through this 10 times.
Yeah.
yeah,
He doesn't know how to be like, yeah, I've been waiting to like just be
There's
your
no, like,
just be
genuine
transparent.
reaction,
yeah, just
yeah.
be your genuine self. Yeah, we ran through this 10 times and every time I was super excited about the fact that you guys would get to see it. Instead he's like he's the J. Jonah Jameson at the Islands of Adventure ride that just has the thumbs up like this.
It's funny you saying that now, David, because you were talking at the beginning how you didn't like Sydney Goodman's her persona that she brings
Yeah.
on stage when she does
She's
the
the exact
pre-sale.
opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
actually inserts
true.
like personality
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
into her hosting.
Her
But-
And I-
dresses are just terrible.
I thought
I
it looked
can't
good.
stand her
The
attire.
female representation in the room says
it's
that
so ugly.
she does not like her dresses.
Every
Misogyny
year.
is alive
So
and
yeah,
well.
yes, I agree with
And
And
Seth.
the women.
I just think she doesn't commit to the delivery of what she's saying. So like
I thought she,
I thought it was better this
Yeah,
year.
she cracked a couple
Yeah.
jokes, and I thought she did well. And
The
again,
persona joke,
she
though,
was
That was a
that was
little-
weird.
That was a little weird.
she got really into that one.
Yeah.
She was really confident
Yeah.
that was going to
And it
set
did not
sail,
hit.
and it flatlined.
No,
I got-
I don't think she's the one writing.
No,
Yeah,
she's
fair.
100%.
Fair.
She's not.
I did get a chuckle out of like I'm a third generation.
Yes.
Like
A third
Yeah.
generation esports
E-sporter.
gamer going
Yeah,
back to the 1800s. That was
that's
funny,
funny.
and
Yeah,
it
that's
was
funny.
just played off, and
Yeah.
then she moved on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's good. I appreciate that. And that is, but that, again, that was like the opposite of what Jeff Keighley does. He
yes,
just
I
kind of
agree.
goes up there.
Wow.
Neat.
I think maybe he needs to separate himself from this. I think that's where I've landed.
This
I don't
is
think he
his,
could.
it's his legacy, I think, to him.
I think he's got to get a host. Like he's got get
Who's
someone
the-
else
so-
besides him.
Who's the
Get,
guy from G4 who's really good? Who was really good?
Like
the,
Kevin Pereira.
the bald-headed guy.
Oh, we don't need to go down that road.
Oh.
It's
he's
bad.
Is he a weirdo?
he's
Yeah?
yeah. He
Okay.
he
Dang.
has gone down a dark path.
Okay.
I like
Well, that would explain why he's not around. Because, like,
that's it's part of why G4 died a second time.
Just get Xavier Woods.
He gets very
Kenny Omega.
I'm okay with Xavier Woods, dude.
Xavier Woods, Kenny Omega.
I'm okay
They're
with
the new
that.
hosts.
but like
I think it's important. I think they did a good job this year. There's still like this obsession with Hollywood celebrities and having them come in to do stuff.
for way longer than a lot.
I think they did a
Yeah.
better job this year of having people who are actually like had a personal connection and enjoyment to video games.
Yeah, I agree.
So that they were and like a guy like Anthony Mackie who was just doing crowd work for
Yeah.
half an hour and it was
Yeah.
great.
I was okay with it.
Like when they had Al Pacino come out,
Yeah,
it
that's
was
what I was thinking of.
it was funny, but it was like,
It was
why
rough.
is this happening?
It's very misplaced.
You just figured out you were able to get this guy to do it because he's a big name. So I think that if they were to go to a host, they would have to make sure it's not just some big person, and that is actually someone who appreciates
Yeah.
the medium that
And
they're
that is
working with.
Xavier Woods.
And I like even at the end of the day, I know that
Aisha Tyler, they should get her.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
Ubisoft's
she's
not
fine.
doing stuff anymore with her.
Man, she used to bug me.
Yeah,
She used to bug me.
I'm with you on this.
Get Matt Mercer to do it.
And that's something coming from you.
He's got at least
Yeah.
That's growth.
well, like he's
Wow.
The evolution of
This
David.
entire year has been
like,
Alright, David, our time's up. You've
dissing
grown.
on Matt Mercer.
no,
Play
as
the
long as he
music.
doesn't wear the stupid gauntlets on his arm. Like it's just
and
it's
cuts his
like,
hair.
Oh man, his hair.
Have him just be in Dante Devil May Cry cosplay the whole time,
Now,
like he
that
did
would
for that
be
one
rad.
Halloween episode of.
What if you got the host
Critical
and you
Role,
wore
I
your
think.
Disney tracksuit up there? That would also be sick.
Yeah,
I almost wore that tonight.
I gotta say that is another weird thing in the wanting it to be the Oscars that there's always like obviously Jeff is always dressing up in a tux but there's always like a handful of people who also dress up like it's a big award show.
yeah.
But because so many people that are presenting are just game dev, like male game devs
They're
that are
just
just coming
vibing,
out
yeah.
in like
Yeah.
jeans and a t-shirt with maybe a sports coat over it. That's another thing that where there's this weird disconnect between the pomp and circumstance of the event.
It's
and-
also 'cause
and
there's
what's
no
actually
dress
happening.
code.
I was
Yeah.
about to
So
say that.
I've-
Like,
I've-
what if
Hideo
they?
always wears like a shirt of what he's promoting.
I've
Yeah.
been listening to podcasts about people that, and they've been talking about their previous experiences going to this thing, and there's no dress code for it, so you can just wear whatever you want.
So
And-
Aonuma could have worn just like a sash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he could have. He
He
could
could've
have
just
worn
worn
the,
the-
the
Sure.
what was it? What was it called in the
The
game?
ruined tunic.
Yeah,
Is that-
something
Yeah,
like that.
something.
And they wore the skirt. And that would have been amazing.
But yeah, the stage presence looks better than ever. The screen and everything. Getting to hear the crowd react to the trailer coming up is a really nice touch. But there is still some things where it's just like
They've
this
cut out a
just
bunch of the
could be
fat
better.
of like stuff that is bad and does not work in
I
the
agree.
broadcast.
We didn't
Right.
get
And that is
50
cringy to
million
watch.
Amazon gaming ads this
Yeah.
year.
So Seth brought it up at one point, and it actually I feel like could fix a lot of this. Is make the advertisements not gaming related. Like genuinely, if you're gonna have commercials, have it be Burger King or something that's not video gaming. Because I know that I'm signing up to be advertised to the Game Awards because you're advertising the new game. I don't need to know about Genshin's new side story. It's not really a reveal. It's more like
It's
paid
just a
ad.
commercial.
It's just a commercial.
the Baldur's Gate trailer 4 or 5 times with all the review scores.
Yeah.
It's
on
like
it. It's like you're showing me what, like you're almost saying you already know what's going to win.
Baldur's Gate. Besides the fact that they won, it's whatever. The fact that they ran 4 or 5 trailers, at no point said our game is coming out on Xbox tonight.
Yeah, you
and
could've-
had no reveal for it, and didn't bring it up when they won, and that was it. And then all of a sudden, it's
And
on
Seth
the
had to
Xbox
look it up.
store. Yeah,
We still wouldn't know.
I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
until I got home.
yeah.
It's
But
weird.
definitely the added layer of commercials inside of this like commercial award show, it is kind of a like it's just a bit too much to stomach.
Yeah.
And as far as being
Because
people saying, "Hey, give us your money for this stuff."
it also blurs the line on what is a genuine reveal that he got
Yeah.
and what did someone pay him there to be for.
Yeah.
That
mean,
sentence worked, I guess.
We
Like,
already know he's in the pocket of Big Hoyo.
Yeah.
dude, that is the amount. There was less Hoyo this year though than last year.
That's fair.
I feel like there was. I could be wrong.
It all blurs together for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard
fair.
because there
Every
were
time I
trailers
load it.
in the awards for. I know there was the Zenless Zone Zero trailer, and I feel like there was also a Honkai Star Rail trailer in the award show, and
think so.
then there were Hoyo ads played during the break. And so it creates this weird thing. I was like, okay, when does the show end, and where does the ad break begin?
Right.
Especially since they don't even have and we'll be right back, or like,
Yeah.
and here's a word from our sponsors. Just
There's none of that. It goes from the reveal that Jeff just did to the advertisement. It's not.
And then
here's
right-
a word from our sponsors.
And
it's
then
not,
right back to the show floor.
Yeah.
It's weird. So yeah, I would have gone for. I hate that Burger King song, but I would have appreciated it in the midst of all of those other.
It's a Grammy nominee.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
oh, dude.
The problem is,
But you know what?
I believed it.
If I'd have told you Baldur's Gate 3 was going to win Game of the Year, you probably would have had the same reaction.
If you go back and listen when the nominees were revealed, that's what my prediction for Game of the Year was.
Yeah.
It was. It was very annoying, and he's right.
It wasn't my choice. It was what I thought people would vote for, based on just kind of the glowing response it had got when it came out.
I think what helped it is it's like it wasn't supposed to be as good as it was also.
So here's the thing, man. I don't want to get on a gigantic soapbox about it.
9 minutes.
All the people that love Baldur's Gate 3 need
Here we
to
go again.
suck it up and go play Larian's other games where they did this exact same thing in other video games. Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 are just this game, but without the D&D flavoring. So go play those.
But that's what's separating it. And that's
don't
what people
think
are
so.
No,
And
but that's
also
literally
people
what
love
they're
the
gra-
Divinity.
If you ask somebody, that's what
that was
they're saying.
Nick's argument was the D&D
Yeah,
part
Rockies
of it.
too.
That's what
That's what they all
they're
say.
saying is separating it from everything
Goblins
else.
are goblins. I don't know what to tell you. I'm like it. Just
Yeah,
saying
but
it's
attaching
D&D.
attaching an IP to something does kind of bring a kind of
Sure.
cachet and an instant emotional connection to what you're playing.
I just think that people's.
It's
it
the
rubs me
reason
the
we
wrong
all
way.
flipped out over Blade.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you like Baldur's Gate 3, just find a sweaty dude in a local comic shop that's been being
Yeah,
a DM.
that sounds terrible.
But he's been being a DM for 10 years and has like a roster
Maybe
of
get an
characters.
L2 on him first.
yeah,
And then
And like
And
he's,
you would have a worse time than you would playing Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, it would be just as
Alone
good.
or online with your friends.
Be just as good. It would, and you'd be able to paint your own mini, and it would be great, and you'd be able to use your imagination.
I think you also have to remember.
Gamers don't have imaginations.
So I wasn't going to say that. I think the response effort is way less to spend $70 and put a disc inside of your
Yes.
thing.
right.
Way more
And
effort.
I see. I'm with you. You're the purist in you right now. I agree with, but it's so much easier for someone to grab a disc and put it in, sit on their couch with a controller, than it is to
To play
fill
it,
out a character sheet,
Well- So
here's-
make the
so-
choices.
okay.
and not only that,
Work out
but,
conflicting
but also
schedules.
the scheduling.
Yeah.
Because Chris and I never finished our D&D session because the scheduling of getting everyone together is god awful.
Or they would
So
pick
it's
the
so much
one day
easier to
where we're
just-
like, dude, we have to work till 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
that's
not
not
gonna
going to
work.
work. Can we do any other day?
Remember
Nope.
when we had this exact conversation on the podcast before, and I made the exact same points?
I know, but I still disagree with him. I
But I don't know how you can disagree. Like, how do you don't think that what we're saying is accurate?
I think that that's part of the experience, to be honest, on a level.
But-
overcoming all odds to play
Okay.
the game together
No.
is.
I
So,
agree.
let's take it to
it's
a
part of
different
the
level.
Experience.
To
However,
us it is, yes.
No.
it
way.
is easier than just putting it in a game is easier. Than
I think the
doing
way
all
to
of that.
I think the way to resolve this
God.
is there should be times where you put in Baldur's Gate and load it up, and you can't play.
Yeah.
Because none of the other characters in the game
Hang on,
can
pause.
open their
Or you're
schedules to be
rolling
with.
zeros over and over and over.
Here's the
and you
thing,
can't
though.
just turn your game off like they do and restart it. That's what I hate about Baldur's Gate 3. You can turn your game off because you didn't like something that happened and redo it. If I'm a monk and I roll a 0, I'm freaking dead, dude. It's over. The dragon eats me.
You
I'm
should
dead.
have to live with your decisions.
Yes, I agree.
Oh my
That's my
God.
issue with Baldur's Gate 3 is the people on Reddit saying, "Oh, I shut my game off 6 times during this plot line," and I'm like, "What is that?"
Yeah, no, that's dumb.
They're cowards who can't.
That's
commit.
how that's how you play video games, though.
Yeah, it's a video game.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But the
I'm with
thing-
you, but I think you need to hear what we're saying.
I get
You
it.
want to DM, you want to fill out the character sheets, you want to
Well,
have
also
food.
D&D has made it so stupid
I agree.
easy.
I agree.
For people that because
just
now
put-
there's
do
an
the
app
app.
that
Yeah,
does
I
it
agree.
for you.
But
I'm
now
on
there's
your
a game that
side.
does it for you called Baldur's Gate.
Game of the year,
now.
2023. I'm with you.
I
I
don't
do
like
think you're overly mad about it.
it. I am,
But I am
because
on
it's
your
not-
side. I'd rather play D&D with
I
this
don't-
group of
I
people
don't
than
think
Baldur's
it
Gate
does
3.
anything new for video games that at least 2 other games in the category did.
I
That's
can't
my
say that
frustration.
because I haven't played it.
Yeah, but when you get in a party, there's no guarantee that you're gonna have a sexy elf like there is in Baldur's
Yeah,
Gate
for
3
sure.
Sure.
that people are gonna thirst over.
Yeah,
Sure.
there's.
Also
But
true.
Zelda has Prince Sidon, so
That's true.
You know.
I also think in
true,
Baldur's
but we
Gate
already
3,
knew about 'em.
if you've done your research, you can like cheat to know where you're going to end up. Whereas D&D, it's like I don't know.
It's just
I
random,
don't know
yeah.
what's going to happen because you, as the D&D, have a computer right there that says.
Yeah, you as the DM
you know what
knows, we
I mean?
don't.
I think Baldur's Gate people started cheating a little bit to be like, I want the love affair with whatever, so I'm going to align it to where I get there.
They started
Yeah.
curating
Yeah.
the experience in a very specific manner that is antithetical to
Yes.
the nature
That's
of
exactly this is.
I agree.
This is
Tabletop
So I'm
art.
saying,
But
I
it
do-
is core
I
to
do
the
agree
nature
with
of
you.
video games.
Yeah.
Again, another reason why people like the video game.
Yes.
Here's the thing: just play a Telltale game. Then this is what Telltale games do.
No, because Telltale game
These are
choices
different
are
kinds of
more.
games.
Yeah.
The
Telltale games do
the
not have
ch-
combat.
Right,
Okay.
and the choices are more limited.
Okay, then play 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
That's a great game. Do play that.
Which has combat and story
Yeah.
choices.
Again, you can play that.
This had me just thinking about something. Adaptations of D&D throughout different mediums. Of course, Baldur's Gate 3 is a video game adaptation of the D&D systems. The D&D movie that came out earlier
Dude,
this
that
year,
movie was
last
so
year.
good.
The movie's good. I
Yeah,
like it.
but
So-
why? But instead of watching that movie, people should have got a group of people together and created a party of
I do
thieves.
think that would have been cool. It would have been fun.
But would it have been cooler
Okay, but this
than
is
the
also
game?
coming from somebody
the
who
movie.
watches Disney parades instead of experiencing Disney parades
Well,
in
he-
person.
But
He'll
I
still
go to
experience
them in
it.
person.
I know, but still, like,
I
That's 'cause
watched
he
him
can't.
when
That's
I
because he
was
can't
my
be there
life.
though. I think it's a little bit different. He can't be at the parade, so he watches the parade. What David is saying is they could make the D&D party in his mind.
I can't make the D&D
I know,
party,
but
so I go
but-
and play Baldur's
but-
Gate.
Yes, I agree. But David, who will allocate the time in the schedule to do it, thinks
Yeah.
that everybody
I'm
should
sorry
also
that
be able
you
to
have
do it.
bad friends. Like that's
What about
like,
people who are like introvert? What about people who
think
live
it's
in
also
bubbles?
Because
people
at the
who-
end of the day, I did a D&D campaign for 6 months of my life where we said every Monday night we're meeting at this house at this time, and we did it every week
I
because
think-
we weren't
That's
shitty
amazing.
people.
But
I
it's
also
the
think-
outlier.
That's
That
what
is the
I'm
outlier.
I
Whoa!
think that goes for
He
people
cursed!
who just work a 9-to-5 job. That doesn't work
That-
for
that is
everybody.
true, too.
Him and I could not do something like
Yeah,
that
it'd
because
be
our
tough.
job makes us work
It'd be
random
tou-
ass
it'd be-
hours of
it'd
the
be
day.
tough.
Well,
Or we have to come home and write a 5-hour assessment, so we can't
I
go
think it's
to.
tough.
So it's
I
a
think
little bit different.
I'm on David's side, but I get why people just
like
put a disc in.
it's a
Yeah.
matter of allocating
easier.
your time.
Yeah.
It's
Another great thing about a game is that you don't have to
Sure.
schedule it every single day.
I still think that it probably shouldn't have won, but you know it's
Yeah.
whatever.
My friend group and we
I
managed
think
to
the
get-
reasons that you think it shouldn't have won are ridiculous, and not versus like the video game reasons.
I agree. I don't agree. I don't think it should have won. I agree with you on that. Though my reasons for why are different than your reasons.
I think it shouldn't have won because I think other games are more interesting.
Doing way more, in my opinion.
Well, that's one thing that he
was
said,
one
though.
of the things I said.
Yeah, that they're.
But I think that you think that because of the fixation on regular D&D.
Well, it's
You do love
it's
D&D.
both. I think that it didn't add anything. I think that it's iterative of something that you can already do. I understand the point of the movie thing, but I can't go and change reality in my life like I can in Alan Wake at
I was
the
about to
snap
say.
of a finger.
Well,
like I
the
can't
flip of a
flip
of a
of a
light
switch,
switch.
between 4 different scenes and the entire environment in the video game change.
The whole
Like,
thing.
The
Yeah.
whole thing.
You can go
Genuinely-
all the way back to the beginning of the level. It's different.
And it's different.
Yeah.
I did
It is-
that.
Me
That's
too.
part of what took me so long.
Me
I
too.
can't decide. I can't walk up on a pile of scrap and then build a robot or a car or a plane or something that would catapult me across the map if I figure it out right.
Into the
or
sky.
something that'll play music if I do the right rotation.
But you could do that in Minecraft.
Sure.
And now Fortnite.
I mean, yeah.
And Lego for it.
It's not that advanced. Lego
Oh,
Fortnite's
it will
not.
be.
I love Lego Fortnite. It is not that
Lord.
advanced.
One day, Tears of the Kingdom will be in Fortnite.
It
Be able
will.
to play the whole game.
Yep. You
Find
will.
it in Fortnite.
Yep. And maybe that's how
But-
I'll get to play.
You'll play the whole thing as Peter
But
Griffin.
I also think that there's not many games this year that made me feel the way that I felt when I beat when I collected all the dragon tears and like experienced that story. Like that
Yeah.
was
Yep.
something else. And there's
Look, I agree.
that-
I think that
it's
there were more iconic games
yeah, there was
than Baldur's Gate
Es-
3.
and even then I played Mario Wonder with people today at work and the joy of them, they don't play video games and they were like, what is happening?
That game is
This
great.
is bizarre.
It's so fun.
And I'm
The
like,
game
yeah,
is
this is
great.
neat. And the little mushroom's like, I'm floating. And they're like, why is that mushroom yelling at me? And I'm like, oh, because he just talks.
Dude, when we turned into the goopy gobs, the green,
Yeah.
Oh, it was
it was
so
hilarious. It
It's-
was so fun.
It does stuff
We
that
turned into a pumpkin.
you've never seen in a Mario game, and nonetheless some other platformers. And it's bizarre and weird that Nintendo made this game, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's rad. I don't think that should have won
no.
necessarily.
It's a great game.
But this
though.
is just an example of something that's actually
Yeah,
like.
I think it
That-
adds more. I think it adds more to gaming, and I just think that there are a lot of RPGs out there that have added
can see
similar things.
I don't think
that
the
Baldur's
moments-
Gate 3 have added.
The best moments in Baldur's Gate 3, there's no way they rival the best moments in Alan Wake 2. Like the way it makes you feel.
And at the end of the day, if people were this passionate about this style of game, then Divinity Original Sin 2 would have won.
Yeah, there's
Game of
tons
the
of
Year.
games you didn't support.
Or
yeah,
Divinity
That are
Original
out.
Sin 1 would.
Yeah.
Or what's that? The Dead Tide. There was a pirate. There was a Divinity-like game, like that had like Pillars of Eternity. Like those games were Divinity-likes. So this style of game.
To be fair,
exists.
all of those games were successful.
No, they were, but they didn't win Game of the Year.
Yeah, but that's the thing when
I think they were
it makes
successful, but
sense
I don't think they were as popular.
that Baldur's Gate would be a
Yeah.
better game than the 2 previous games that they had made before using those ideas.
They did. No, those were this. They're very similar games. It's just the IP difference.
But I'm saying that yes, they are similar games, but I think there is a level of the people making the game improving on their craft, and
Sure.
for Baldur's Gate 3 being even like within what it's doing superior to all those games.
Sure. I don't know. It's fine. I definitely don't think it should have won.
On a positive note, we finally got a release date for Skull and Bones.
You say positive, I say negative to the freaking pits, dude. God. That's what I'm mad about.
What a
tonight.
segue.
I just don't know how that game seriously.
Look, we
announced
got
a
a
release
month
date.
and a half for it to get delayed again.
That's
which I
true.
think will happen.
I hope so.
Man. Dude, even when Jeff said it, he
It
said
has had many
available
release
February
dates.
like he was not he was like, available February
I feel like
16th.
that's how he read everything.
I mean, true, but
except for when he was interacting with Gonzo, and then he tried to act like a human.
He also loves Hideo. It's his best friend.
Yeah.
He did get excited for
You were gonna
Gonzo
say
and
he loves
Hideo.
Gonzo. He also-
He might also love
That's
Gonzo.
possible. I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, Gonzo did say it's like looking in a mirror, so I don't know.
I mean, fair.
Also, did he bring Timothy Chalamet onto the show just to sun him with his
I think
YouTube
so,
channel?
yeah.
He didn't say his
tried to
actual name.
They
It
tried
was-
to big time him.
It
Like,
was really weird that he had nothing to say other than what was on the cue cards.
yeah.
He came out like a robot,
it-
I mean,
which makes sense if he is Pinocchio.
right.
Go play
Depending on which ending you got.
Liza P not winning anything is a bummer. That game.
I feel like
It's
we
like
run
a
into
stand-up
this.
for
It should have.
Every
I wish
year,
they
you
would have
know.
put it
Spider-Man
in,
didn't win anything
in
either.
best debut indie.
I think it's gonna be. I think I liked Liza P more than Spider Man,
Yeesh.
but it's I liked Spider Man a lot, but I know what I was. At the end of the day, nothing.
The surprise factor for a game like
Yeah,
Liza
right.
P.
so like there is a game that everyone has every year that like they don't think it's going to be as good as it is, and then you have that.
I
Like,
couldn't.
I mean,
put-
at the beginning of the year, it was Hi-Fi Rush.
yeah, you guys loved. Hi-Fi
Well, we
Rush.
didn't
And
know
it-
about it
yeah.
until
Yeah, they
the
shadow
day it
dropped it.
released.
Yeah, they shadow dropped it.
And that was great. And it won 2 awards, I think.
Thank God.
I
that
couldn't
was
put
cool.
down Liza P. I beat that in a week, in less than a week, because I couldn't stop, and there was multiple times where I'm like, I have to play through this with Spider-Man 2, and I was like, I don't want to do this, and it wasn't even because the story was difficult. It was just another walking mission that,
Another MJ stealth
yeah,
mission.
another it is.
Well, not third-person shooter, I guess, is what they turned
It is
her
a
into.
yeah.
They turned her into
It is a
secret agent.
stamp of Sony first-party games now that there has to be a mission every like 3 or 4 missions where you walk for an extended time and do nothing. God of War 2.
It has weirdly become their a signature.
Yeah. There's a God of War 2 roguelike that's out now. You can play it at Valhalla. Valhalla. I felt like no matter how I said that, it was coming out weird.
Valhalla.
that
Now
got-
we got
The
all
best
3.
Halo 3 map. Because it's just Blood Gulch.
Yeah, it is the best Halo 3 map. Can we talk about the Sega thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
We
cool.
so can.
That was cool.
That was
Was it?
cool.
Was that was in show?
Yeah,
That was
I
in
remember
show.
Jeff talking about it.
But I thought it was an ad at first. That's
Yeah.
what we talked
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, so
I
did
thought it was
I.
an ad.
It's-
Yeah,
because he said it was like it was going to be a world premiere, and then it started off with like people on a couch playing games. You know, like oh, it's a commercial.
I thought
it's a
I
commercial
thought
for
it was
Taco
going to be a
Bell. Like,
Sega
it's-
Mini or something
Yeah.
again, like one of
Oh,
those.
yeah.
But and it sort of was. It was a similar type of commercial.
Yeah,
Just instead of all of the games being like classic
Retro.
games, they were all brand new
entries and
yeah,
long-running Sega
Yeah.
IPs.
that have been dormant for a long time,
Yeah.
which was really cool.
Starting with freaking Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
so we're
Jesse.
getting a new Crazy Taxi,
Oh, that
yeah.
looked nuts.
Yeah.
a new Golden Axe,
Yep.
a new Jet Set Radio, a new Shinobi,
That looked cool.
and a new Streets of Rage. And they said,
showed
and
that
more.
they showed that one the least the Streets of Rage one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And it's also been that one has also been
Yeah, Street Trades 4 was.
the nearest since an old one came out. So it sort of makes sense that they showed it, but it looked like it was a top down, like an isometric beat 'em up versus a side scrolling one, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
very
Or like
little,
a 3/4 view or whatever. I don't know.
very little to show for all of them.
Yeah,
but
there's bits of Golden Axe that looked like a gauntlet, which was neat.
that's what got me excited. Is
Yeah.
that it looked like a
But
gauntlet
freaking
type
Crazy Taxi looked dope.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had a solid 1 second of Jet Set Radio footage.
Yeah.
Of like grinding,
Grinding
in,
and
in
some
like the
spray
art
paint.
style. It looks great.
was cool.
I really want that Shinobi game to do well because I want Capcom to make another Strider, which I know is not like exactly
yeah, they're
the
not
same,
connected,
but like
but they do look similar.
I would say they're
have
like
a-
rival franchises
Yeah.
almost.
they're in a similar vein of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was cool. Sega, I remember they had been contacting I don't know if it was press people or influencers telling them, "Hey, we want you to watch the Game Awards and be ready for stuff we have to show." I never would have guessed it was 5 separate games.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Maybe
very
the,
cool.
Maybe the biggest set of announcements Sega has done in a very long time.
They tweeted earlier today, like, be prepared for a new era or something. And
Okay.
So
I mean,
knows?
that's. I think that is a great strategy because they have tons of old games.
that aren't being touched.
Yeah.
And could use a fresh coat of paint.
How much money do we think Sega is making off of the Like a Dragon series that it could potentially be bankrolling the rest of the company?
It's a huge property. It
Because
would
for
not
a few
surprise
years, they've basically only been releasing Sonics and Like a Dragons.
me. Yep.
Right.
For in regards to like big releases. So now to finally have a bunch of these longer running franchises finally getting new iterations and entries and stuff just makes me think, like, how much were they making from those other things to get this? But I'm very happy about
Yeah.
it.
And that Crazy Taxi, it looked like a complete game.
It looked crazy.
Like in terms of what Crazy Taxi is, so I hope that's coming out soon.
Yeah. We also got some like neat games that were announced by like very endearing people. I wish I remembered his name, but there was a game announced called Tales of Kenzera Zhao. Zhu?
Yeah.
And-
that was cool because that was
It's a side-scrolling.
Yeah, like I have to imagine it's kind of a Metroidvania type game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a very cool aesthetic. But yeah, I think that is one of the great virtues of the Game Awards has been it's, at least for like the past few years, its desire to put smaller devs
Right.
on stage and have them present their stuff.
Yeah, the exact same stage as the
Yeah.
biggest AAA developers. You know?
Yeah, but I also, let me see if I can find it. I saw this tweet that was
His name is Salim, and it's Sargent Studios.
Oh.
yeah,
SAR.
and he came out. I guess he's the voice actor of Bayek from Assassin's Creed Origins, and he also said he was in what was it? A show that I don't remember the name. It's a show I've heard of but never watched. But I saw a tweet about how even like it's this weird thing that on the one hand they're putting out these smaller devs, and then on the other hand they give the actual developers who win awards like 30 seconds to thank everyone, and then they usher them off the stage to put out a new commercial. So it's kind of weird. Like it wants to have its cake and eat it too. And like the entirety of the thing, there is this sort of feeling of ickiness of watching a really long commercial versus watching a thing that's actually like
A
celebrating.
celebration of art and the
yeah.
people. That
So it's
make
weird,
it.
but I do give it credit for bringing out these smaller devs, and usually they are connected to bigger publishers, and that's how they get.
Yeah, like
That's how they
I
get
think it's
known.
like the new EA partner. Like I think
Yeah.
EA's logo was on there.
yeah,
But yeah, it is cool to actually be able to see these personalities of these people and give them these small chances to tell the stories about their companies and the games that they're making.
The other game that I was excited about was the
Also, we should say, just give a shout out back to that guy. What was his name again?
Salim.
So, yeah.
Because he was talking about the games he grew up with, and then yelled out "Golden Sun," and
Yeah.
then he popped off in the chat.
Yeah, I was very excited.
in the in-person chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I yelled out. I was so
It was great.
excited. We got a Titanfall mention and
Yeah.
a Golden Sun mention.
Jeff
on
Keighley
the show.
said Titanfall.
Well, I mean, Vince did create
Yeah.
Titanfall, so yeah.
I know,
That's why.
and he should make more.
And we were all yelling about something, and no one heard it but me. It was funny.
Do you think because Apex is so big that he'll ever make anything else?
They can't. Well, Apex is dying. That
Is it?
This is what he says all the time.
I mean,
No.
technically, Respawn is making the Star
it's
Wars
what's
stuff.
reported all the time. I listen to gaming podcasts every day that report on like stuff like this.
But like,
The
do you think Vince is in charge of
Yeah,
like,
but they've been
creative for
saying
the Star
Apex
Wars
has been
games
done
too?
for a long time.
Or is it like a different team?
there's they're not the Apex Legends team is working on Apex, and they're not really.
But do you think he also has input on the Star Wars stuff? Because it is like his studio.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
he's also running Battlefield now.
Oh yeah, that's
They
right.
they've taken dude.
Yeah, that's right.
Literally, EA has just become Vincent Pill looking on video games for them,
And then these
Except
random,
Titanfall.
except
Titanfall 3.
Titanfall and the Amy Hennig Black Panther Captain America game, which the Black Panther game that no one has seen yet,
Yeah.
and the Iron Man game that no one has seen yet. So let's talk about Marvel having fingers in every game developer bucket
Yeah, that's
across
definitely,
platforms.
that's definitely interesting.
I love to see it.
Xbox is going to have Blade. Sony has Wolverine and Spider-Man. EA has Black Panther and Iron Man.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight
Yeah.
Suns exists out there.
For Access,
I couldn't believe it got leaked earlier this week that the idea was that Dishonored 3 was going to be at the show, and it was going to be set in a different sort of setting, and then it turns out it was not that. It's
Yes, it's not
Blade.
Dishonored 3. It is Blade.
Yeah, so
I thought maybe they were going to do a Deathloop too. I'm not going to lie.
I would've
Man.
been
That's what I
so
thought they were
happy.
gonna
Would've
do.
been
yeah,
cool.
but that was my thought when this was getting shown off and it was real that it was Blade. It was like, oh, Dishonored 3 probably isn't happening then, or at least not anytime soon.
no, because the other arcade is fixing Redfall every day.
Yeah,
Then it can win ongoing game next year.
Yep. Just like Anthem
yes, sir.
Did Anthem win it?
did. No.
I mean, I would
No.
God,
They tried to fix it, and no one wanted it.
no one bit.
Supposedly they are fixing it. Well, we'll see.
No, Anthem is.
No, not Anthem.
Oh.
Redfall.
I remember trying to play Anthem with David, and he got stuck inside of the tutorial map.
Oh, that,
Did I not? I think I. Told
I think
that
you have talked
story.
about it before.
Because the dev reached out to me. I had a dev reach out to me on the phone. I talked to her on
really
the phone.
hilarious.
That's amazing.
She DM'd me on Reddit and said, "Hey, if you're having this issue, I'd like to talk about it." And I talked to her on the phone.
Probably because she didn't know it was possible.
They didn't. And I was stuck in a loop where I could not leave the
it's
opening
not a
mission.
loop, David.
We don't need to do that.
Yeah, don't do that. I was going to make that joke earlier.
Yeah.
I kept
But-
it quiet.
Listen, I'll just keep saying
because
only
my
the
wife
first half
hasn't
of it.
played it,
Where I would get all the way to the end
Yeah.
of the opening intro,
and I'd be like, "Where are you?"
and it would boot
you're
me
like,
back
"I'm in
to
the
the
floor."
beginning of the tutorial.
What?
And I
But I got
posted-
through every time.
I posted about it on the Reddit.
Of course.
And the dev said, "Hey, this should not be possible. I promise I'm not someone fake." And they had a verified Reddit account, and I thought they were fake. And then we talked on the phone, and I gave her some of the dev settings of my Xbox, my game version, and she did something, and it worked. It was
crazy.
all in the back end on the server side. It was
That's cool that she did that though.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it updated so that other people possibly like me, but it's insane that it happened to me after the game wasn't even popular. It was when the game was $10. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
it had
Oh my
died. It
God.
wasn't. Yeah.
It was dead. And
Yeah.
we were
You,
like,
you
"What?"
just got lucky that they were in that period of still trying to make
Yeah.
the game
To do
into,
something with
it.
into something. Into
Wow.
Anthem next.
But speaking of Microsoft games or Microsoft,
It's weird that one half of Arcane's thing is making a big vampire game, and now the other half is making a big vampire game.
Except one of them
That
is
is-
actually going to be good.
that is sort of weird.
it's
That's funny.
it's
I
strange.
mean, yeah, so during the trailer when it showed Blade's fangs and he's sitting in the barber chair, I thought it was just going to be a Redfall
Yeah,
thing, and I was
gave
so
those
worried.
vibes.
And then, thank
Nope.
God it wasn't.
They also said it's going to be in third person, which I
don't know if I love
I don't
that.
feel great about it. But I guess you kind of have to when you have Blade on.
I
You
love
want to have Blade on screen.
Yeah, you want to.
I don't have a problem with for third person.
No, I know you don't.
It's just that all of Arcane
Arcane, yeah.
Leon's games, like the Dishonored games and Deathloop, were all first person, and I think
That's just how I'm used to experiencing them, you know?
Yeah, I think but I think it's also a core thing of what helps the that style of gameplay work. And of course,
Yeah.
you know, I'm assuming that it's just going to be like Dishonored but with Blade, and it's probably not going to be.
I also would argue that Deathloop was broken, and Andrea can vouch for me because I ran into every game-breaking bug possible in that game.
I had
And
no
did-
problems.
Like
and
comically,
he had
oh my god.
so
And-
many problems.
yep.
And
Wow.
it was like
What do you get when you kill somebody?
you
In
get
the
like
loop?
their little power.
Got stuck under the map. I could
Like
see
he
it,
couldn't get. And
so I had to start the loop
But
all
it's
over.
because he couldn't get to it because it was the level where the whole room fills with that gas, and if you fall on the gas, you
you're
die.
done.
Yep.
So he
Got
can't
stuck
go
under
down.
the map.
and
Yeah, I ran into every
Oh,
game.
that's
Gun
funny.
wouldn't shoot. Gun wouldn't reload. Ran into every. So I would argue that they also
he never got
make
to.
broken
It
games.
bums me out because that I think was my game of the year that year, and he never
That was a
got
good
to
game.
play it.
That's crazy.
I think that was up on Seth's list that year.
It
Yeah,
was.
it was good.
It was.
Man, I just
Weird ending.
I don't know. I didn't get to experience
The
it.
ending was bizarre. That was good.
I definitely thought that Moon Studios was owned by Xbox, which is why Ori was always Xbox. Like
It's possible.
It's
that
possible they
maybe
were.
Yeah.
they
I
they
mean,
aren't anymore.
I mean,
neither
studio-
is Private Division.
Yeah,
And
studios have gone independent from Xbox
Yeah.
before.
Isn't that the goal? Bungie did it, and it
And
seemed
then
to be working out for them.
Yeah, they went independent and then went into one fire and then got out of it and then went into another fire.
You know, maybe I do feel like they are someone that keeps putting their hand on the stove.
So I
It is
didn't.
very
Okay, so
terrible
I just earlier I didn't want to make fun of Destiny because I thought you guys would get mad at me.
No,
and so I'm proud that Seth made that joke.
I feel
because-
very bad for that entire dev team
Yes.
because they didn't make any decision that led to this. But boy, do the people that run that studio keep putting their hand on a very hot stove, and then
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of
it sucks.
like. I can understand why they went away from Activision because they wanted to deliver content in a different way than
Yeah.
Activision was willing to do that.
I mean, and it's Activision.
I
to be
think at but I also think that they are on the forefront of a style of game that is, I feel like, is the kind of least common denominator of game delivery style, and that just keep pouring out content little by little every month. Though to be fair, Destiny was doing it in like wild ways and constantly reinventing their story.
well, that's
and-
why Sony bought them. 'cause
Yeah,
they-
but
they-
again, like the problem is the delivery system that they thought was good. It's just a thing of like a game can't continue to keep growing,
yeah.
and so
At
and
a
it
certain
can't and
point
it
it plateaus.
it-
or Fortnite.
Or Fortnite.
yeah. Fortnite is obviously the
Well, even then, Fortnite was like it wasn't dying, but it's slowing down, which is it was
yeah.
slowing down, and then OG hit, and then they skyrocketed again.
And again, they're also that's probably why they're constantly adding new game types into it. They're turning it into a platform versus
is, yeah.
a game.
It's almost like a browser.
Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what Call of Duty has become, which is
Yeah,
weird.
not as good as Fortnite.
Because
yeah, I feel like.
you don't
Yeah,
have it
Josh
downloaded,
said was so.
but you download Call of Duty onto your system, and it is the hub for every version of the game. But you have to download that
Yeah.
to. It's weird. It's like downloading Steam onto your Xbox
Yeah.
to access games.
I mean, the games have done that before. Hitman does
Hitman
that.
did that with
but
World of
it's a
Assassination.
little. I
Yeah.
think it's a little different in that is collecting all of Call of Duty versus Fortnite, which is like here is a game which is like turning into Roblox essentially, where
Right.
there
Here's
are a million
builds.
game types.
Here's
in
no
it.
builds. Here's rocket racing.
here's
Lego.
that
And
one.
again,
Wait,
like
what?
that might be like
You know what?
Activision might see Call of Duty doing that and be like, well, we're gonna put a racing game in here now.
You know what the trendsetter for that was?
What?
Halo 3 matchmaking.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's true. I think that's a stretch. I love
Listen.
you, but you
could go back even farther and to be like StarCraft custom maps that were
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
were doing different game modes.
Halo 3 Forge mode.
Yeah, but I think again, and a lot of games, those were an add-on thing that
Yeah.
was fun to do and had like small community centers versus this is what the game is. But anyway, as I was saying, like that's the problem with Destiny is that, or at least when they got under Sony, a company that is going to constantly expect increasing player count and money coming in, and it's not feasible at where they're at. So it sucks for them, but it was sort of the infinite end, like the nth version of what their game was going to be. The final shape, one might say. I saw a funny comment that under the IGN article that came out about it that said the sword logic dictates that a game studio must continue to produce in order to justify existing. And so it's kind of ironic that is sort of the content of the story of their game, and it's now happening to them in real life.
Right.
But it's actually happening to real people,
Yeah.
which is sad.
No acknowledgement about the insane unrest in the gaming industry.
Yeah,
during
of course
the
not. I
award
mean,
show.
there's probably
Like-
been like they want to celebrate stuff,
Yeah.
and
They don't want to hold anyone's feet to the fire or mention that maybe people have been bad, and they probably should a little bit with their.
and I don't think Jeff Keighley is ever going to be the guy who's going to be like, oh yeah, all of these companies laid off millions of people this
What's
year, more
crazy
than
though,
ever before.
is I can remember Jeff getting so mad about the Xbox potentially having to be online all the time. Do you guys remember that? I know
Yeah.
that's like a deep cut.
Like, he
he
was-
was willing to be so like unabashedly pissed off about that,
Look,
but
there's
then
a-
he won't talk about crunch.
There's a time that Jeff Keighley was a game journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that
Yeah.
he talked about. And now he is a award show producer. And so he has to be buddy-buddy with the people that he could once criticize.
A showcase curator.
I,
You know,
I
that's just-
kind
that's
of
what he
wish that
does.
someone used their time tonight to do it. And again,
But really, no one had any time to even
no one
say
had
anything.
time. I watched a video on Twitter. They gave everyone 20 to 30 seconds, and then this giant screen in the middle of the audience started flashing "Wrap it up,"
Yep.
like "Please wrap it up,"
What?
Yeah, I'm not.
which started
God.
flashing during the Larian guy talking about one of their dev member, like one of their team dying. Like it's. Maybe you don't flash "Please wrap it up" during that. I don't necessarily agree that you won Game of the Year, but if you're telling a heartfelt story like that, like don't. You gave like Matthew McConaughey like 3 minutes of vamp time
Yeah.
to do random bits.
Yeah.
Al Pacino talked for I don't know how long last
That-
year,
that
dude.
was-
I do think it was funny that they brought out what's his name, Christopher Judge, and immediately started playing him off. It was a funny joke.
But then when they did like two more
But it,
times,
yeah, but it's like
But then they legit
you
did it
don't
to
want
Sam Lake
yeah,
while
you-
they were up
right.
there.
You
Yeah.
don't want people
Yeah.
going 8 minutes. But also, if you want to celebrate the industry, you should want the people who create these games to be able to talk about the stories of creating
Yeah,
these
right.
games and why it matters to them to do it.
I think the show could be 4 hours if you let people talk.
Yeah.
Just let them talk.
That would be too long for me.
It was 3 hours tonight.
Yeah, but one more hour, it's at midnight, and I'm like, I don't know.
Then what do we cut? Like that's what I want to
The
know.
ads.
Someone sponsor
The
it
game.
All the
to where it's ad free, and I'll
Hoyoverse.
just deal with them saying it's ad free because of Gillette razors or.
Well, I think there could be fewer premieres actually. If we had to take time away from something, we couldn't
Yeah.
cut commercials.
Yeah, I mean,
I
yeah.
think
I
there-
actually agree. Weirdly,
I think you could take away premieres. I think that Jeff Keighley wants a bunch of premieres because he thinks that's what people tune in for, and I think it is to an extent.
Uh-huh.
But I think people like us also like to see who wins the awards and
Yeah.
argue about them.
Yeah.
Because we care about the games, and so I think still those people would tune in to see who wins the awards so they could talk about the games.
Maybe not even the premieres, but maybe not the stuff that we've already seen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Fair.
Because again, that's that thing you wonder. Okay, is this
Unless
a
there's
paid
something
ad
new,
or is this
because-
like a premiere that they asked to have on it?
Apex Legends had a trailer. Asgard's Wrath 2, which
That
we
Apex
already
thing.
knew about. Baldur's Gate 3 had multiple trailers. Black Myth Wukong had a trailer with no release date.
Looked really cool though.
Dave the Diver
Trailer.
had the
Look,
expansion.
we were hype at
so
that
is it-
Black Myth.
No,
Wukong.
Wukong did have a release date.
No,
Yeah, it
said
did.
Yeah, it did.
2024.
No, it said August.
Yeah.
Because remember I said that's so long, and you said that's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
About a month.
Fortnite Rocket Racing. That trailer had already been released.
Yeah, no, you're right.
A lot of Fortnite trailers.
There was a lot of Fortnite.
A lot of
trailers.
Fortnite
They were-
trailers.
They were
I love
amazing.
Fortnite.
But
I
again,
agree.
you don't know which one.
Right,
Of those
some of
What's
those
paid? Yeah,
were
what's
in
paid?
the commercial area.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we didn't
fair.
need the whole thing with the Vegas Sphere doing the mobile
The
thing.
Vegas
but
Sphere
was that a
mobile-
paid
No,
I
advertisement?
think
No,
you don't know
that was
because
on
Jeff
Andre,
talked.
that's a celebration of mobile
Yeah, Jeff
gaming.
introduced
the
that
Clash of
commercial.
Except
Whatever.
it's just Clash Royale.
Like
or
those are the
Clans
things
or
that are
whatever.
ridiculous to have.
Stupid.
Like that whole bit.
They
could have
probably
been cut.
paid a
What
lot.
if it was just? Was it ever just world premieres? Like the Game Awards? was it
No,
ever
no.
just? Maybe it should just be that.
and not like
You've
trailers
never
of, yeah.
seen this game ever.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's just sort of wild that you get all of these games that win awards. And granted, I don't care to hear Faker talk about winning an esports award or anything, but at least like it would be vaguely interesting to hear a composer talk about winning best music,
Yeah.
or something.
Well, so-
and instead we get like very truncated, like Jeff reading off 6 awards.
Yeah, game's done quick. He just
Yeah.
just speed,
Speed
runs.
runs.
It.
Yeah, he's
He's trying to get
runs
those sweet splits.
Yeah. So I know we keep coming back to this point, but like, yeah, Jeff Keighley wants this thing to be an award show so bad, but he doesn't
Want it to be
like,
an award
like,
show.
let's just compare this 1-to-1 with like the Oscars.
Right.
There's no ads really. There's no like trailers for
No,
upcoming
you don't,
movies.
You don't learn about new
Yeah,
movies. at the
I
Oscars.
was thinking about that during. What if during the Oscars they
They
just
started
had a
doing
bunch
that?
of brand new movie trailers for stuff you had never even seen before?
I think maybe the art of trailer
it'd be
making
weird. It would be
improve,
weird.
but I would hate that. And so, like, what if for the Game Awards it just did fully become an award show so that the developers and the creators can have that
problem
time
is
to
I think
talk
that-
about
I
it?
think
Yeah,
the
I don't
viewership
think it,
would
I
go
don't
down.
think it will.
I don't think it will either, and that's why I'm like
Because I
thankful
think-
for like channels like NoClip who do documentaries
Yeah.
with these studios.
Because-
I'll be honest, not to interrupt you, Seth. Summer Games Fest, they get to talk about their game forever. I feel like
do.
there's people who go up there and talk for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Ed Boon, I love him. Summer Games Fest, he was up
It
there
was-
for
he was
like
there for a
what
while.
felt like 15 minutes.
yes,
The Nick Cage thing that I did at Nick Cage
Yeah.
thing, that was like 12 minutes.
Way
long.
longer than Sam getting a reward
Yeah.
for 13 years of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So I think part of it has to do with the way the Game Awards grew. The Game Awards has grown so much that Jeff Keighley can do the Summer Game Fest, but I think that
and Gamescom.
yeah, I think at the beginning, like he had to have that stuff built in to bring people in to sort of build
makes sense.
the brand of it, and so I think now it's hard to remove that part from it.
I think
But-
also like we have to think about the funding that he's getting from these
Yeah.
paid things. Like
Yeah.
he needs
Yeah.
to fund
Yeah.
the award show somehow. So
Yeah,
he
and
can't
like
cut
there's no
that
problem
part,
with
yeah.
that. I understand, but again, it would be nice if those were actually distinctly split into ad blocks, versus mysteriously peppered throughout the show and introduced by the host.
Yeah.
Yeah. That or funding becomes just a centralized organization.
yeah,
of
one person.
it's the
did this.
sponsor, yeah.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
person. Or we wanna
Sometimes
think
it does. It has felt like that before, where it's
the
just
Gillette thing for
Yeah,
sure.
where it's
yeah.
one
Or
thing.
shtick or whatever. He's probably jumping on the table.
It's I don't know. It's weird. It's also interesting that I remember Jeff in like a Q&A said that like they got rid of the world premiere
Yeah.
audio
Yeah.
before things, and
But they still called it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And Jeff Keighley specifically said that they were moving away from that branding to focus on to just showing like the actual what the games were. But then like every time they went up and said that it was a world premiere, and it's like, well, what do you? Why?
Yeah. So I do. There's only one. I'm more perturbed by Baldur's Gate winning game of the year, then I am like actively like super
No, I know.
mad.
It's just a bit.
I
it's
am
fun.
pretty actively mad that Final Fantasy 16 won Best Music, especially
When Hi-Fi Rush was there,
especially when Hi-Fi Rush, Zelda was there, and Alan Wake 2, and honestly, Mario Wonder should have been
Mario Wonder's music is very
included.
good.
Especially Mario Wonder should have been nominated in Best Audio Design because literally I showed everyone at work this today, and I told you we were playing Mario Wonder earlier. If you put your controller on your table and you run across the musical blocks, the controller vibrates with the note that you're running across.
Yo.
So it plays the note through the table or through your hand, and you can hear the vibration making it. It's rad. And like that's like a very little thing, I know. But like the music, I found myself
it's the little
way
things
more,
that count, you know.
I mean, I agreed because I brought up how frustrated I was at it during the awards, and Chris was like, "Well, the orchestra part was good," and I agree. The orchestra parts are good. It's the weird, crappy butt rock dubstep, and I don't. I especially don't know how you pair that when a game like Alan Wake 2 has insane sound design and music design, and has actual like
A bunch of
full-on
original
musical
yeah.
original songs made for
Yeah,
it.
I can't
and
spoil.
like
Yeah, but yeah.
so, and it's not a spoiler, Andrea. At the end of every chapter, there's a new song.
Yeah.
There's a new song that like encapsulates
Is
the
the credits,
vibe of it's the
basically.
credits of the chapter. So it's like a TV episode, and it's like, this is insane. This song is great, and you could skip it, but I sat and listened to every like 2 to 3 minute song.
did.
Towards the end, I'm not going to spoil anything. There's also like you can insinuate certain things about who's singing it.
Right.
If you,
Oh, I
if,
love
Exactly.
that.
if you keep it going.
Interesting.
So
But yeah,
Taking a cue from the Devil May Cry style
I kind
of
of zoned
theme
out
writing.
during most of those songs.
Oh,
and
man.
I'll
started
hit you
singing
with
them.
it. I'll hit
I
you with it.
listen to them.
I don't.
There was some that I liked though.
I don't know if you clocked this during the trailer for the Final Fantasy 16 like expansions, but there was that.
There was the butt rock.
Yeah,
there
that
was-
butt rock and
I
the
just
dubstep,
I
like,
literally
stuff you
just
hated
froze
so
like
much.
this. I was
I
like,
did.
I was sitting next to David. I'm like, I clocked it with my ears, and I'm like, oh my god, I fear for my life
He's
right
gonna,
now.
he's gonna hurt
Also-
someone.
you haven't brought up how much you popped over that Dragon Ball game.
Oh, that
Oh,
was so
yeah.
exciting. That was so exciting, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
helped.
There
Shiny
You hit Rocky like 8 times.
There were
Zero.
multiple like where we were screaming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And again,
I
like,
just
we
wanted
have
to
all
bring it
the-
up. I just
yeah.
want because like
We have all these qualms with the Game Awards, and there's moments like that where
Right.
we're freaking out.
yeah.
it's but for every one of those, there was another like Hoyoverse trailer. Like literally, one of the ones was like a Tales of whatever game, and I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom.
that game
man.
looked
Visions
cool
of
though.
Mana.
Visions of Mana.
That game
was
looked
cool.
cool.
It looks like,
Like
it's Kingdom Hearts
that
1
is
combat in the
like
best way.
a legacy
Yeah,
JRPG
that's
franchise
cool.
from back on like the NES. cool.
We had that trailer for the long-running 16-year franchise of First Berserker.
That was
Kazan.
weird.
DNF. or
that
whatever.
was
Yeah, it said like
weird.
so many million players or something.
350.
It has to be
you
like-
know what it reminded
it
me
had
of?
to be like-
What's that game that Remedy made the single player for?
Oh yeah,
where they were like, "This game
the
is
X-
loved
X-
by
Crossfire.
500." Yeah, we're like, "This
Crossfire.
game is
Crossfire
played
X.
by 500 million users." It's like, who is playing
Where?
this
I
game?
tried playing that, and I could not find the single
I
player.
wonder
that menu
if it
in that game
came
is
with the
horrible.
console, and so they can say that because they bought.
Would it come with the
I don't know.
Ouya? I don't know.
I would bet that is a spin-off of like a mobile game or like
Sure.
one of those random
Yeah.
MMOs that no one knows about that have huge
Everyone's
player bases.
playing the one I get an ad for all the time right now is the people. It's called like Sun or something. And it's like, yeah, you're not
Black
playing
Desert,
this?
the Black
No,
Desert one. or-
it was another
Sun.
one where like it's made by the same people that made Whole IO or something, and they're like, "You're not playing Soul," and I'm
Yeah,
like,
Souls.
"Yeah, Souls." They're like, "Oh, you're not playing Souls, bro?" And
Oh, it's a
It's
.io?
always some like fake TikTok guy like running up to someone in the mall, "Bro, you playing Souls?
I
You
hate-
playing Souls?"
Those are the
And I'm
worst
like,
things.
I wish
those
I was
are the
dead.
bane of my existence.
I wish I
hate
wasn't.
those ads.
I don't want to
And
exist.
have you ever
Like-
watched? And I'm pretty sure the people doing the ad aren't the actual voices.
No.
They're all overdubbed in
Yeah.
this really weird, off-putting way.
But there's a lot of cool games. That Mecha Break game that's basically Gundam.
looked like-
They just stole the vibe of Gundam.
And some of the
bit, a
design
bit.
elements, I would
As
say.
a person who has recently been watching a weird amount of Gundam compared to how much I
usual.
watch, it's close. You guys were over there popping up like, oh, this is Gundam, and I was like, no, it's not Gundam.
Right, but
It's
there
cool.
was-
It's big mechs.
As a Gundam connoisseur,
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I
they're
wouldn't-
actually
I-
Gundam.
Yeah, I'm to be on Seth's side here. There are different schools of design for mecha.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can kind of break them down into
Sure, no,
probably
no, I
like
get it.
3 or 4 general types, and then you can go from there.
There was, there was definitely Gundam vibes and inspirations in like the designs and color schemes going on.
Yeah.
But
like
when I
the
saw it,
one-
I immediately thought it was
say
Demon
tomato.
X Machina.
Like the one was basically a Zaku. The like
Yeah,
right? like
It was similar.
yes, it was definitely
similar.
evoking,
Yes, it was evoking a
Gundam.
Zaku.
intentionally.
and it's.
Looked,
I'm
it looked
glad I
neat.
got that name right. It's been a minute since I've watched some Gundam, or played any of it, but I have it in there. There really wasn't anything else like super. The Jurassic Park game
That was neat.
was neat.
yeah.
Like
I think that was cool because it was surprising.
yeah, it was surprising, and
Also, I don't know who said it. I will agree that it's John Williams' best music.
yeah, I know that Forrest doesn't agree, and he's wrong, and that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
we can agree to disagree on that.
I'm about to give the
I mean,
potential worst take of all time. I hate the Jurassic Park
I know
theme
you
because of that French horn line is
Oh.
overplayed.
Oh.
It is the
See, this is-
freaking
Oh my god,
most overdone thing I've ever heard.
Lord!
This
That's
is-
because it's so good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
because-
Everyone
sure.
wants to play it.
Yeah, and that's what dilutes it. You know, it dilutes the brand.
Okay, sure. Whatever,
Sure.
dude. Whatever.
I remember when I
Name a
was
better
your age.
soundtrack from John Williams.
Yeah,
I mean,
there isn't one besides maybe Hook. Like that's like maybe the Hook soundtrack, but I mean that's just because I love the Hook soundtrack.
listen.
it was me.
The Blue Box.
Can we watch Hook again?
Oh
dude.
yeah, that's my. I love.
I watch that airplane every time. Just Hook.
Yeah.
You got Hook?
You ever think about how you can never eat anything as tasty as that weird
No, nothing
the
will ever
neon
be as
colored
good.
cream that was in Hook?
Nothing will be as good.
Cruise food's close, but still.
Yeah.
They should serve that on the
Oh
cruise.
my god.
I can't believe they have not done that.
Oh
I'm
It's
with
probably
you.
because they buried Hook in a box somewhere.
man.
The boo box.
Yeah.
Well, the other big thing was that, and we don't need to hold Chris and Andrea hostage for this,
No, I do it,
but,
dude. It's
but the
fine.
Final Fantasy
Yes.
VII.
Yeah.
You guys love it.
That was
Weird.
so.
This was
Listening to you guys.
so weird.
I love it. I
was
love
so
watching
funny.
you guys.
We were-
a concert.
we were
in the
geeking
middle of
out.
it, but B, what was happening?
Yeah,
Like-
this is brand new stuff.
Like,
Yeah.
was that
There,
who's the
there appears to be an entire musical that happens
My
in the
brain-
middle of
Yeah,
Final
with like
Fantasy VII.
costumes and everything.
Right.
That was definitely Barrett in
Yeah.
a giant devil
Well, I
costume.
don't
Yes.
know if that was Barrett or if it's
He had a
who's-
gun
Oh, it's-
arm.
yeah, it's fair.
but the guy,
It wasn't. Dine was in it
was
very
it Dine?
briefly.
That my brain was
Dine
like
is a lot smaller than Barrett. He's. But again, I don't know. But there was a giant devil.
Sid was there.
Yeah, we saw Sid, which
I-
was weird.
which-
Oh, I
I-
missed that.
Yeah,
that went
he was
over
in
my
it.
head.
He
Yeah, we
taking
yelled
off in
Sid
the
at Sid.
highway.
I must have not been in my mind then.
I
I was
to
in
be
my
fair,
mind
Final
place.
Fantasy VII Sid is not the best Sid. The best Sid
think
exists
he's a
in the
good
worst Final Fantasy game, maybe, and that's 16.
Oh, no, sir. There are worse, I promise. you.
But the best Sid is in Final Fantasy 16. He's rad.
That's
he's
the one
super,
I know.
He's hot.
Yeah.
That's my oh
He's
man,
hot,
is he hot?
and
dude.
he lights his cigarettes with crystals. It's very weird.
You look at Clyde
I feel like
and you're
if-
like,
if you had the
man,
ability to
Clyde
do
is
that,
hot.
everyone would do
And
it.
then
you
Sid
see
walks
Sid,
up and you're like,
and then you
oh,
hear Sid.
you're like, oh my god.
God.
Yeah, it's that game is worth playing just to get to the
Just
Sid
to see the
reveal.
hot
This guy?
people.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Sid
awesome.
Dolphins, tell
I
him.
had to obviously look up who you're talking about.
It's literally
Wait till you hear his voice.
it's literally
I
Nathan
can't
Drake,
handle
but
that.
if he was a 10. Like that's what he looks like.
If he was
That's
at
literally what
100.
Sid looks like.
Oh my god.
But yes,
Sorry, what were we talking
this
about?
Final Fantasy
He's-
VII musical
yeah, yeah.
performance.
His voice is the Diablo old Ratchet guy.
It is the old Ratchet guy.
I don't remember the old Ratchet.
Yeah,
guy.
the guy who takes you on the whole journey. I forgot his name in Diablo because that game I forget it. I'll look it up.
Yes.
Final Fantasy VII
There is a
Rebirth.
big musical number. I'm
Big
trying to remember
musical.
there's a Super Nintendo Final Fantasy that also has a musical in them.
I mean,
It's
you're also
Final
thinking.
Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
The
You're
opera
also
scene.
thinking
yeah,
of
the
Final
opera.
Fantasy X2 and
No,
X,
I never played it. Never played
which
them.
I
don't know anything that happens in
2 was
those.
my first Final Fantasy.
yeah, there may be
Kill Chaos. Sorry.
Final Fantasy X-2
Sorry.
is phenomenal.
But I think that's
the
such
dress sphere
We gotta
system.
play Stranger of
That's
Paradise.
such an
together.
interesting
God.
thing to add, because we've also seen scenes of what's his name from the guy who did the dance scene in the previous one.
Yeah.
With Cloud, he's
Yeah.
also back doing another dance scene. So I wonder if they're in the same musical.
Zach is with like a cancered Aerith.
Yeah,
like,
it was weird.
like
Laura.
I could not believe
Yes.
some of the stuff that I was seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
A
wild.
certain somebody was getting too handsy with my boy Cloud.
It was Aerith.
Yeah.
You got mad.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know what's going
I
on,
stand
but
Aerith in this
you were
version.
not happy.
Listen, she's wonderful.
I
I
love
love
Aerith
her,
in
but
this
she's
one.
not Tifa.
I mean, I know who Tifa is.
Everyone knows who Tifa is.
Yeah.
I even know who Tifa is.
Everyone of a certain age.
I mean, maybe even younger.
We don't know.
Now,
Up for discussion.
Yeah.
And then they announced inexplicably that
yeah,
instead
a
of Fortnite-
crossover with Apex Legends.
which I love, that's rad.
But the game design.
It's wild.
It's not even
This
the
is how
game
you get
design.
people back.
That's true.
Loot boxes because Apex
Yeah.
doesn't really
You can't
for
just
these
buy what you
events
want.
they don't sell the skins like
We're
that.
blessed in Fortnite.
You have to buy.
Yeah, we see Alan Wake in Fortnite and we go, I want the champion of light.
Well, that was us during the Halloween event for Overwatch. Remember?
But
Halloween
I
event.
feel like it's
Oh
worse
my
than
God.
Overwatch. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, it is way worse.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can
Yeah.
buy,
You're
It is-
buying boxes still.
Yeah.
and you're buying boxes that it can be like backgrounds
Yeah.
or like
Still the same
There are
Overwatch.
not, yeah, there are not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
event-specific boxes.
Yeah, it's not like I want the Angel Mercy skin, so I'm gonna buy the Halloween box. No, you're just
Yeah.
buying a box.
Just
It,
you don't
it
know what
just
you're gonna get.
it will
Yeah.
add new skins into the pool during this
Yeah.
time period. Sometimes there's like a track. There will be like one that you can get through gameplay, and then a bunch of them locked under loot boxes. But the worst part is it looks like the cool thing was what's the hero's name?
Crypto.
Mirage.
Oh.
No, that was Crypto. It was Crypto.
Oh, it was Crypto that gets the sword.
He
yeah.
gets Cloud's Buster Sword.
Yeah.
And the problem with that, though, is that all of the melee weapons are what they call heirloom weapons.
Yes.
They don't act, because they don't, you get a unique melee attack and sometimes a unique, like, running animation. But in order to do it, you have to, like, literally open 1,000 loot boxes.
It is like
Oh
a
my
point
God.
zero zero
and
zero
then,
zero zero
and
chance.
then,
Yeah.
like, you can get them from any loot box.
If
But,
that's the way they do it with this.
but the only reason I think that is because he was swinging around and it had this red aura, which
Yeah,
is
which is the heirloom
color
aura.
of the heirloom
So
weapons.
you can buy that skin and you won't get the sword?
No.
Yeah. And
If-
you can't
if
even
they do it like that.
Yeah, if they do it like that,
but
which
yeah.
probably will.
You have to.
You can buy the character, you can't buy their skins.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can
Well,
buy
you can't.
the
You can't buy
character.
event skins. You can use in-game currency to buy.
There's like a
legendary
rotation
skins.
of like 3
You're
skins.
you're so like blessed
sorry.
and conditioned
I'm
for
sorry.
Fortnite.
It's
You're so
I don't
blessed.
understand how you can buy the character but you don't have the skin of the character.
Well, there is a skin, like a
There's a
default skin,
default.
but then it's
A
like
Jonesy.
Overwatch, where they all have.
there's a
Mercy
Jonesy,
has-
but you
Mercy
can't
has, yeah, like Jonesy. There's a Jonesy, right?
Oh, I see. Oh,
but there's
I get
also
it. Like
Cobra Kai
like-
Jonesy,
okay.
Dinosaur Jonesy.
Like I can have Mercy,
Dinosaur Jonesy?
but I won't have
Oh,
the
yeah.
Witch Mercy unless I have the skin of Witch.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha,
So that's
gotcha.
how it-
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Dumb.
It was
It's
it
very
was
dumb.
at one a very cool and weird announcement, and then you realize,
I'm never gonna get this.
So what made it worse is that Jeff says out loud. This is the other thing that like he actually made me mad about this. He said, "Ooh, if you thought you'd love that, this isn't the only announcement for Final
Yeah.
Fantasy.
I feel like he did
fans.
that last year where he hyped up a weird,
He did Summer Games Fest.
yeah, like
He goes, it's not that.
yeah,
And then it was like the Totino's Pizza or something, or Taco
Yeah,
Bell or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
At least at that time, he had the wherewithal to realize what people thought they were going to get and
he's like, wait,
and
no.
tell them no. And in this one, he did the literal opposite, where he's like, "Oh,
yeah.
we got some more Final Fantasy VII for you," and then it's a tie-in with Apex Legends, which is cool and weird. But again,
But put
We
it in
popped
Fortnite,
off,
because
but
at the
then
end of the day,
quickly
in
cooled down.
Apex,
You'll get it.
I can't see my skins.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I'm playing in first person in that
Oh
game.
yeah, that's also true.
And so I never felt compelled to buy skins
Yeah.
because I can't see them. In Fortnite, I can see my character
Yep.
do a dance.
I
and I'm like,
100%
look
agree.
at that. That's
100%
Anakin doing
agree.
the Dougie.
Doing
I love
the
it.
gritty.
He's Anakin doing the gritty.
Gritty on him.
Like,
I agree. I agree with you.
I if I'm gonna buy a skin, I want to see it.
I don't want to be a Fortnite shill, but I agree.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to be when that exists. Like, it's. I've never understood the appeal to buying skins in a game where you cannot see them.
I've done
look,
it a
I
couple
have
times.
understood the appeal and have done it.
I have done it a couple times.
I do it in
It's nowhere
Halo.
near how much I've done it in Fortnite.
I do it in Halo all
You
the
still
time.
get to see him on the menu.
I bought
Yeah, on the
I bought
menu,
Shredder in Call
when
of
you're
Duty because
loading
I was
into the
like, I
match.
want more
Okay,
turtle
but you
stuff
see
everywhere.
his thing
You
in
do
Call
see
of
like
Duty.
his thing.
The
Yes.
only one I want to buy in Call of Duty is Nicki Minaj.
I was gonna buy Nicki Minaj
Man,
and I
not even
decided not to.
Spawn?
I earned Spawn.
At least,
And that took forever.
at least
Yeah.
with
That was
the
a nightmare.
the heirloom
In
weapons,
the
you
battle
do
pass.
get to run around holding them, and so
Yeah.
you can see him that way.
That's cool.
And I think there are unique like assassinations,
But
which
you
are
don't play
the
as
hardest
Crypto.
thing to do in freaking Apex.
but you don't play as crypto.
I would if I had the Buster Sword and
right,
could slice
but
people
that's
in
not
half.
your gameplay style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
the problem with that.
I played as crypto.
Yeah.
Like
I
that was-
remember the last time I played Apex, it was with Seth and David, and Seth and I died, and Seth yelled at David because he didn't clutch the win. Seth's like, just flank him! And I don't know what David was trying to do, but he died, and Seth was not happy.
Somehow playing Apex, whenever we randomly jump back in on it,
I
like
downloaded
once
it.
every year, like it's the most stressful
Oh, yeah.
thing.
I downloaded
It
it.
never
It
goes
is.
well.
It's
But I'm
chaotic
good at it.
and hectic. It's fun, but yeah, this is. If they could, if there was a thing where you could just be like, here, buy these 2 skins and this Buster Sword for like $20, you know, I think that would be cool. But
Yeah.
That's the
they're not gonna do
Fortnite
it.
way.
yeah.
Here's Alan Wake with the light switch. Oh yeah, give me that bad boy.
No.
I was pretty excited.
God, we gotta talk about that light switch at some point.
I know. Well, we will. I want to know the lore,
I need you
and
on
it's
the spoiler
why
cast.
I like. So Dead by Daylight has
Yeah.
a single player game coming out. Where
I'm so
With
excited.
Supermassive
Made by
though.
Supermassive,
With-
yeah.
It's a collab with Supermassive,
Yeah, and
who
that's-
makes great games.
What's it
But
called?
like
The-
the-
The casting of Frank
so
Stone.
I don't know. You guys haven't played Dead by Daylight.
Nope.
I have.
Yep.
There's something going on there. There's people that hunt for people and generators.
You know, I mean, you know the lore a little bit.
But like, there's
Yeah, but this is a
also
new character.
black.
Really?
Yeah, Frank Stone is a new character,
Yeah.
which
That's
they probably
interesting.
will bring him into the
100%.
actual Dead by
Yeah,
Daylight.
yeah.
Because
so they're sacrificing the. I'm sorry.
But there's like black demon arms you hang people on.
They're
Instead
sacrificing
of
to an
hooks.
I
entity.
thought those
That's
were
like what the
hooks.
whole lore is.
you put them on a hook, and then the black entity comes out of
It
the sky
sucks
and
them
then
up.
sucks you up.
Oh, like the amygdalas from Bloodborne. Right?
So
It's
it's
like-
so it's literally like Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, like Lovecraftian.
Oh, you haven't seen Cabin in the
I have
Woods?
not.
Oh,
I
wow.
was not a horror
We
movie
need to fix
kid.
that.
I
It's not
was
even really a horror
definitely-
movie.
You would love it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
now I would.
I'm gonna put my foot.
It starts out as a horror movie.
I mean, yes, but it's kind of like a.
You like that movie, right?
Yeah, it was great.
It's
Listen,
Yeah.
I
You'll
didn't-
like it.
I
You'll
didn't
like
get
it.
into horror until like 2019.
But it's like
so-
it's a very.
Very
I can't
recent
tell
to
you.
it.
Like it's like you just got
just
like
so good.
I
That's
can't
fine.
say anything because
But-
I'm spoiling it.
So like there's a lot of implied lore in the game because you're putting people on these hooks and then Lovecraftian tendrils
There's
are coming
bios,
down to get
like,
people.
each character has a bio
and
and-
there's always a ton of lore.
Jill
and,
Valentine's in it.
She
She
is.
is. There's, I mean,
So it's Leon S. Kennedy.
Nemesis is in it. I'm
Yep.
pretty
Nick
sure.
Cage is in it.
Yep.
What?
Chucky just came
Nick
to
Cage.
Nick Cage, Chucky
Wow,
is in
really?
it.
Chucky
Which,
Tiffany, yeah.
by the way, I do want to play it with
Me too.
Chucky in it.
Me
because
too.
at the end, I played it with a group of friends. Which, to be fair, he was a really good shepherd of a group of people. He made sure like no one was using the
perks.
game is really it is a skill
Perk-based.
hike.
Yeah.
And if you take away the perks of everyone, it makes it pretty fair. And so no one was allowed to play with perks. And someone was running around to Scream, and I swear to God, said if you could have seen the animation of Scream running around, where he's just
Ghostface?
like,
Yeah.
just doing
That's
it.
how we
He
run.
literally just.
And like we were playing in like a cornfield level, and you would just see this little arms going like across the map.
Chucky has to be terrifying if you're
Yeah,
being chased by
He's so
him.
tiny.
Yeah, it has to
he,
be.
he calls what's his face to pick up the survivor.
Yeah, he calls Dormammu.
Yes.
Quick question: do they have the creature from the Black
Dormammu?
Lagoon?
I wish.
I
Dormammu?
wish.
I've come to bargain.
I played as,
Dimbala.
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 I played
Dormammu. That'd be sick also.
Yeah.
Chucky just calls Dormammu. I've come to
Comes out of the
bargain.
sky.
I played as this guy that would make make people see hallucinations. Of me.
Doctor.
Oh, the doctor.
Yeah, they would see. They would be like, "Oh, he's coming at me from this way," and I'm sitting there like, "I am not. I'm
No
coming at you.
siree.
I'm actually going against someone
Yeah, I
else
mean-
completely."
It's interesting that then
They have so much
that they would
licensing.
make a brand new character for this.
I agree because there's so many characters that were interesting in the game, and they should be talking about
Bunny
more
Mom.
than me. But
love
like,
her.
there's a bunch of cool characters
There is.
Did you just say
created.
Buddy Holly?
Bunny,
Bunny
mom.
Mom.
We call her Bunny Mom.
I would
called
bet
the
then.
Huntress.
The
I would.
Huntress.
I would bet then that the four survivors are characters that are from the game.
I didn't
No.
notice anybody.
The characters
think
don't
everybody-
really have personalities.
But
At
they
least
do
that I could
also
think.
have backstories.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why they're doing a whole different story is so that they could connect them all together
So-
in this new like map, I guess.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but a part of it started with Left 4 Dead characters. For some reason. Like
What?
Bill's in
Bill-
it.
Bill was an
Bill's in-
original
Meg was in
character.
Left 4 Dead too, I'm pretty
Bill.
sure.
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah, I think Meg was in
No,
Left.
she wasn't.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But anyways, Bill was an original devil, but I think that was their first quote unquote license.
Okay.
Oh, I think you're right. I think I do remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Dang. God, that
Dead
was
by
so
Daylight
long ago.
also on it's on Game Pass.
Yeah,
so we
it's
can
free.
play it.
Dead by
I
Daylight is
own
also the only asymmetrical game that lasts
Yeah, for some reason.
because
I think
no
it's because
other
it's the
horror
it's the most
asymmetrical.
even.
Well, it's also the only asymmetrical horror
With
game
licensing.
that has so many licenses. The Texas Chainsaw was just Leatherface.
Leatherface.
Evil Dead
Evil
was
Dead.
just Evil Dead.
And both of those are in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. So it's.
Oh, I can play as Ash Williams?
Yeah, dude.
Dang.
And it's Bruce Campbell's voice
They
lines.
should have the monsters from what was that game? From the Left 4 Dead people, the monster game.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
Evolve?
Evolve.
Yeah, they should have the monsters
Okay,
from Evolve.
don't get David on that train,
That would be
please.
amazing.
That's trauma.
That
for
would
me.
Yeah.
be hilarious.
I spent so much money on that game.
That was an expensive
The
game.
Thankful to
thing
say
from
I
the
only
ring,
played the beta.
Sadako?
the girl from the
Samora?
ring. Yeah, she's one. You just
Oh, Sadako's the Grudge.
You know,
Stranger Things. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a lot.
Stranger
It's
Things.
cool because Supermassive's made all like the horror storytelling
the pig from
games.
Jigsaw.
yeah.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn, the Quarry, which ripped.
Yeah, the chorus.
Until Dawn's
That's right.
amazing.
I'm definitely excited. This should be good.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
play it.
it's cool.
yeah.
Hopefully the quality is more in line with their standalone games
Then,
and not the Dark Pictures Saga
Yeah.
games.
It looks like they're gearing more towards Dead by Daylight, like the route.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful.
It's cool. It's a neat announcement. In
So-
the vein of the Blade announcement,
Yeah, the Blade one by far was everybody's favorite.
Yeah,
I
the
think.
Blade one was the
was
coolest
cool.
besides
My
Final
favorite
Fantasy
was World
VII.
of Goo 2. I'm
That was
very
weird.
excited for that.
That's like an old game.
Like I missed.
Yeah, it's like a 15-year-old
Oh, that one, yes.
game.
That was like on the Nintendo
It
DS.
looks so
Yes,
fun.
okay.
I'm excited for
I
it.
remember that.
Small disappointments for the Game Awards this year. The fact that Ati or the
Auntie and the
janitor
janitors
just
didn't get to
wasn't
play.
like-
They didn't open up the
doing
show.
I wanted
doing
him
a-
to walk through. mopping
Yeah,
the
just
floor.
walk through mopping the floor, like
Yeah.
just saying like the rose is red because the flower can be blue or something
Yeah,
weird
dude.
that he says. Like
Every time I came across him in the game,
Put a cork in it unless you don't want to actually put cork in it.
yeah, and he says this stuff, and I'm just like, I just like nod my head, and I'm like,
You guys are
yeah,
Yeah, I got
like
it.
it makes sense in a,
I get
in a
it.
way that
we
I
don't
cannot
know if he's a
verbalize.
god. He could. I think he's a god. I don't know.
Oh,
he's something.
He has to be.
He's definitely something.
Yeah.
God.
Yes, he was not there.
Sadly,
No Joseph Ferris. That was a bummer.
I don't know if that's a bummer. It's a weird because he's kind of a staple.
Yeah.
So that he probably should have been there. Instead, we got more celebrities. Anthony Mackie mates. Why did Anthony Mack? Never
Anthony
mind.
Mackie got
It's because he
more time than every single one of the
wasn't-
awards
Yeah.
combined.
My brain goes, why was he not presenting best adaptation since he was in one? And then I realized it's because he's nominated for Twisted Metal. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
But that's also in like the thing how they brought Christopher Judge out to do the nominees for best performance,
Right.
and then after that had a trailer revealing the God of War DLC, and
Yeah.
I'm like, why didn't you do that before Christopher
Right.
Judge came out? Strange.
Can I ask a question, but not be judged for it?
Yeah.
Didn't they used to separate it, man and woman performance?
No.
No.
they
Am I
never
thinking of
did.
Oscars?
You're
and
thinking
the
of
Academy
Oscars.
Awards?
You're thinking of Oscars.
Okay.
You're thinking of the Offspring, who have to keep them
But I
separated.
feel
Which really-
like
Which really,
No, they've got to keep them
separated.
separated.
well, I also sang an Offspring song.
It was the wrong one.
Sorry.
but they should. There's enough women
I think they should. Yeah, I
in
think they
video
should.
gaming now because not now.
I think
There's not
I can
enough
see in
still,
the
but
future
they should split it up.
the way that they are
But the
going.
women would just get read off in the cavalcade.
Yeah.
But the way they are going, that big AAA video games are going toward having faces be their characters. I think it will start to make it.
which
it could
almost
start to happen.
which almost worked against them this year. There's got to be a solution to the thing where Idris Elba is not going to take the Game Awards seriously.
No, he wasn't
And
there.
so
like,
what are you going to do when because now AAA studios
well,
are relying
I
on
think it. Yeah, these different devs are reaching into the bag of let's spend a bunch of money to bring an actual Hollywood actor. But I think I think what I'm talking about is that their voice actors are becoming a lot more face forward,
right.
doing press and stuff for games, so
Yes.
that we know who they are.
Yeah.
like we knew who the Alan Wake voice actor was, even though he's not.
Yeah.
We could all identify who he is, even
Yeah,
though
yeah.
it's not actually Alan Wake.
I mean, yeah, that was it's straight. It was cool to see how they did that. And I honestly think a lot of this kind of started with when the first Hellblade game came out.
Yeah.
and because they spotlighted her performance.
They
as
just
Sin
grabbed
so
her and
much-
said, "Record live."
yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I think I could see in the future that becoming a thing where they separate
Split category.
to have more nominees. But that would also require them to spend more time giving out awards to people who are actually in
That's true.
in this.
I just
They
I,
end up making
again,
the female one a side panel.
I didn't play it. I don't see how the dude who did Asterion is better than a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he was the one character that everyone was in love with,
Yeah.
and so
Even though
I
he's a
was
bad
not
guy.
surprised that he.
I mean,
won.
just because you want to have like hate lovemaking with him doesn't mean like their performance. I don't
It's
know.
good. Yeah.
That's just an inference, I guess, because I didn't play it.
But
I mean,
I think on the other hand, if the ability to get so many people to feel that way about you does mean your performance was successful.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, Sid's hot too, though, man.
Yeah. What?
Not even nominated.
Not even nominated.
Not even
for
nominated.
either game that the act because he did. I just looked it up.
Yes, he was
The guy in
something-
Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Lorath.
Diablo 4 luckily did not win anything.
No, but like the voice actor's performance was good in that game.
I do
Yeah, it
think-
was.
so good.
Yeah.
I do think that there is some stuff that other characters could or other games could have won. I do think that where's the best game? I guess I'm trying to think of what I would consider. I almost think that Resident Evil 4 should have won Best Art Direction, mainly
What?
because I think that Alan Wake 2 was super special, but like Resident Evil 4 added a bunch of things to the game
agree.
to signpost
But
what to do
I agree.
and like
I
made
don't
the
know.
game more
I see what you're saying.
What are
I
the
think
other
that,
things
that
in this
comes,
category?
That comes down more to game design. Than
Yeah,
it
I
comes
think
to
Alan
Yeah.
Wake 2 is art though.
right.
So it's like, where
It's
do we?
hard.
But like
Yeah.
art direction,
May-
is that visual design or is that like
Yeah,
You know,
that's why I
just-
said like I'm trying to figure out what category I would put that in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
I think
they
this would
did a
be a
very good
category.
job. They,
Almost like best engineering or something because
I
they,
wanted
they
Spider-Man to win something, and I wanted Resident Evil 4 to win something.
Yeah, I think
but
so,
I
too.
did not want Resident Evil 4 to win Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was tough in the categories they were nominated for.
100%.
And there's just
And what's his name? I think he could have been the Miles voice actor. Could have been. Could have been.
Yeah.
for his
he
performance.
he
too.
should have been.
He was great.
I think that he is the stronger performance in that game, in my opinion. But that's fine. It's weird. I definitely I don't know. I think that Spider-Man should have won something. This was a stacked year for games, so like
Yeah,
it's
this
kind of
happens.
hard.
This happens every once in a while. That like the names at the top of the list. It's just like I can't believe there are this many games that in any other year would win game of the year.
right.
Starfield nowhere, like anywhere.
And well deserved for Starfield.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like that was amped up like the next
Yeah, it
game of
was.
the decade. You
Yeah.
know?
I do think that there is something like to what Seth is saying, and maybe some of these like canceled each other out, which is
Yeah.
why.
They did.
Not saying that Baldur's Gate.
I mean,
like,
it was like the year that
People loved it, but,
That,
like-
that Zelda won.
right.
Yeah, Spider-Man suffered again the last time it came out because it was up against.
God of
Was that the
God of War, wasn't
God
it?
of War?
God of
Yeah.
And like
Red
you look
Dead,
at Horizon Zero Dawn when it came out,
Always
was,
against
like,
Zelda, yeah.
right before Zelda,
Yeah.
everyone forgot about it.
Horrible decision. And then
And even in that year, Mario Odyssey came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it got and it had no chance against Zelda.
Mario and Zelda in the same year is wild if you think about it. Like both times.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now,
it's
Baldur's-
probably. I mean, it probably makes sense because those teams operate on very similar development
That's,
cycles.
yeah.
yeah. I do think we need to figure out how some of these awards could be better. That's my problem. I want some of them to be better. Players'
Yeah,
voice,
it's tough. I think that they have to have such broad categories. Because one thing about the Oscars, there are a ton of like very technical categories,
Yeah.
like stuff that never
Editing.
stuff that never makes it
Yeah.
onto the
I agree.
award show. But they are giving out awards for like every single
Yeah.
department of
Costume.
film.
Yeah,
Yep.
makeup.
makeup,
Makeup,
costume,
yeah.
editing.
best
and
stitching.
and there
best-
and you know there aren't a lot of one-to-ones in the games industry because you know a lot of people do multiple things on different projects, and even doing that would then you also have independent studios in which like 1, 2, or 3 developers are doing the jobs of what like 100 developers are doing on larger games.
Yeah.
And so you know it's tough to do that, but yeah, I do think because the categories have to be so broad, it sort of it kind of funnels everything into okay, what are the five biggest games in every category?
Yeah, because like best debut ends up being best indie.
Yeah.
Like they're the same
Well,
exact
there's
categories.
3 games in the best independent game category that were in best debut.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So-
So it's like
What? How does that work?
How do you do
and
it?
then what? I still don't necessarily have a great grasp on what best community support is. Like,
Well, that's because you don't really play games that have you interacting with the community. But there are a lot of
What won
like
that?
Destiny won it a bunch of years because
Yeah.
they had
Right, but
they
why-
had a bunch of developers that like went on Reddit and talked to people all the time about what was wrong with the game and how they could fix
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I did that with Anthem.
But I think that's what they're doing, and so like that's stuff you won't really know unless you're
I
in
mean,
the.
I
in
can-
those
I
And
see
communities.
Baldur's Gate 3 was an early release, so I get that. I'm more wondering why Cyberpunk 2077.
I think
was
this
there.
is one everyone and their mom will agree that this didn't belong in this category
No.
to
Yeah,
begin
that was
with,
weird.
and did
or
not
best
deserve to
ongoing
win.
game.
It's not an ongoing game.
Yeah.
It was just a game that was broken at release,
Yes.
and they spent a lot of time
Yes.
fixing it and then delivering new content on top of that.
Yeah.
That's
In
not
a-
ongoing.
In form of a DLC. It's not. It's
Right.
And now they're
separate.
done. The game is not ongoing past this DLC.
Right.
Yeah,
It is
that's
done.
what's weird. It's not.
Yeah.
It is a
game
done
ongoing.
game.
You could tell there were placeholders, like Genshin Impact, whatever that one. You can tell there were placeholders set to win certain categories.
I always get really frustrated with the ongoing games category.
I don't think so, because I know that writers vote on this stuff, but I do think that it can be a thing where you send out a bunch of ballots to people and they only know of the one game in the category, and so
Yeah.
they're
Then
all
they're gonna
going
pick
to vote.
it.
For
But then you
Yeah,
could say
yeah.
it was kind of, we assume this will win. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's what everybody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah. I don't know. There definitely could do some more categories in place of other ones that shouldn't exist.
Do we think developers, because if we're, like, I'm a glass half full guy, do we think, like, Dredge is just stoked to be there?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, 'cause
so they
they're-
are getting represented, and it's like,
Yeah.
I saw Dredge and was like, I can't wait to play that. And
Yeah.
so, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think there are just some people are just excited for the recognition.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that would also be a good thing to have more categories.
Yeah. I agree.
best multiplayer
stuff,
mode,
stuff that
like or
you
best
could put
new,
more
like-
independent games in and have them like compete on fair footing with other games, because that's why like the years that Hades and Celeste were nominated for best game were like outliers, even though
Yeah.
there are often indie games that are for what they are as good or better than the big games. And so I think it would be cool to have more spaces to show them off and
What-
more spaces to like
What was nominated the year Hades was nominated?
I don't
I
know.
think that was that
Was it
was
2020?
that Last of Us 2?
It could be.
It was Last of Us 2 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Jeez, it had stood no chance. That was wild.
I feel like every year though there are like 3 games that are like they just beat everybody else up.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's how it is with the Oscars
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
When there are games that are like head and shoulders, like clearly these are the best games, they're going to win in all of these categories.
I'm a Spider-Man stan. I love that game. Not my game of the year.
no,
No, it's not there. It's in my top 5.
Yeah, it's in my top
But-
5. I would say.
It's
Not
not.
my game of the year though.
Oh, 2021 is when Ratchet and Clank and Deathloop lost to It Takes Two.
Oh yeah.
That
was
was
a-
so
we don't
bad.
need to. We don't need to go
Metroid
into
Dread
that.
lost that
Yeah,
year.
Metro Dread
We
Second
don't
lost
need
and
to-
Resident Evil.
I
We don't
think
need to
about
go
that
into
all
that,
the
dude.
time.
but see, I
that
think
was so bad.
I think those are more interesting than when you have a game that sweeps all of the categories.
I
and
agree with
know
you,
they're
but
gonna
It
win
Takes
Game of the
Two
Year.
is not better than all of
It's
those.
all of literally every
Ratchet
single
and
other
Clank
game.
was a 10 out of 10 game.
I want to note that I am way more mad at that than Baldur's Gate.
Yes, I'll agree.
I'm doing the Baldur's Gate thing mostly as a bit. I'm going to play this game when it goes on sale for $20 eventually because I'm not going to
Then
spend.
you're gonna be like,
$70
oh, I
on
get it.
I,
I'm never playing D&D
You'll
again.
never play it out loud.
This is
Frank
great.
Never playing D&D again. He throws all his books away, lights them on fire.
he buys each of us copies.
Excuse
and says,
me,
"Play
my-
with me online."
my PDFs, my PDFs.
Yeah,
I don't,
No,
I
he's
don't-
like, guys, I got a new DM campaign, and he just snips us all Baldur's Gate 3.
We're gonna meet.
No, he
We're
just
gonna
gives
meet
us
at
the
8
Game
p.m.
Pass
every
link.
Monday.
It's on Game Pass. I'm gonna DM this
At
Baldur's
the
Gate.
end of the day, we did get in a small argument about the multiplayer thing. You still have to get with your friends to play this game like you would D&D. Like that is the other thing
Yes.
where people get like passionate about, but the multiplayer and what you and your friends can do, and it's like
You can do even more.
you can do that. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
We all should just talk about what the trash fire that the Light No Fire game is going to be. That's
Ooh.
I think it would be great.
I think
God.
it will. It could.
I will not be fooled by anybody ever again.
Good.
That's why I watch Twitch. It's why I read Steam reviews. Cyberpunk fooled me. No Man's Sky on launch fooled me. I will never do it again.
I think, though, because of what happened to No Man's Sky on launch, I don't think that will happen for this game.
I don't know.
I would hope not.
If Bungie can prove anything, I think devs can touch a hot stove multiple times. I think they're very capable of doing it.
Even ones that in
Yeah,
theory
but-
should have learned.
And No Man's Sky originally, the trailers did not match the game when it first came
Yeah.
out.
But
Yeah.
again, I don't think...
But I do get to be a rabbit person in this.
I
The
don't
vision
would be
think that
cool.
Sean Murphy would do that.
I can't
I think
trust the human
because-
intention.
Yeah, but because of how much grief he got,
Oh, yeah.
I think he would not want to relive that.
I'm shocked he stuck
and
around
I
through it all,
think
to
that
be
Me
honest.
too.
because of how big No Man's Sky
The
has
studio
become,
got flooded, twice also?
because of
Yeah.
how big No Man's Sky is and how many people are working on it, I think he also has the tools to make sure that it is.
And this game looks...
But that aside, he talked about basically making a planet to scale.
Yeah.
That was the idea, which I think is neat. And then they showed what may or may not be gameplay of them moving through the world,
That's the thing.
flying on a dragon. Which again I think is cool, and I think this is a game that really interests me in theory, and then it's one of those games that does not have clear goals, and it seems to me like it's going to be like a Sea of Thieves type thing where you have to have a group of people
crew.
going and basically role playing essentially in
Yeah.
order to do that stuff.
And I love doing
which
that
are hard
Sea
for
of
me to do,
Thieves.
but I mean it seems neat.
I don't understand how you put story in this game.
I don't either.
You don't.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
like
just
free
an
It's like
open...
Sea of
yeah,
Thieves.
it's
There's
just...
there's no story in No Man's Sky.
I mean, you're right. I'm just more drawn to,
roam
like...
around.
narrative.
They
I'm
just
hesitant
continually
to say that.
They just continually add things to
I'm
do.
hesitant to say that because the
that are
last time
collected
I
together.
mentioned that to someone that loves No Man's Sky, I got chewed out about how I don't understand. And I am like,
I think
okay,
there's probably lore now. I don't think there's a story.
yeah. I don't know. I
But you
am
know,
hesitant.
Almost
okay,
like
I don't
this.
know.
I don't know how much that will do for me.
Right.
If
Yeah.
there's no end goal. No end goal is tough
Like-
for me.
Yeah, there might be like
see-
little objectives here and there, but
That's why I
The
don't
game-
like Minecraft.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
game like this would have been perfect for me back when I was in like middle school or
Yeah.
something, where I didn't want as much out of my games, I guess.
Yeah, where I was
Like,
too poor to own more than 5
Yeah,
games.
exactly. So like that would be my one game that I would get for the summer. and
It
then
would be
I
your Oblivion.
Yes,
Yeah,
But again,
yeah.
you,
precisely.
David, you've also had a lot of fun playing Sea of Thieves, though.
I think
Yeah,
Sea of
that's
Thieves is
true.
a different experience, though.
And I would get into it, but like I had 3 people where we'd yell, "Man the sails!"
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
would-
but I think that is what this game is aiming to be.
And
Is
that would be
you
rad.
with a group of people are able to do stuff in this
But
world.
also Sea
it
of
doesn't
Thieves-
it doesn't look like a game that would be fun playing by yourself.
But Sea of
Yeah.
Thieves also has a story.
Yeah, that's
does.
true.
There is
yeah.
story to
That's
Sea
true.
of Thieves.
They had a Halo crossover, didn't it?
It has multiple stories,
got-
and now
yeah.
it's got
Monkey
Parts of
Island.
it's got Parts of the Caribbean.
Monkey
in it.
Island, too, yeah.
And they
That's
added
kinda
a
massive.
single player mode.
Yep.
Yeah.
I might play it.
Well, you can always do the single player. You just man one. It's a small 2-person ship.
Right,
and
but
you
they
can-
had like a specific mode for individual
yeah,
players.
where there's not other people in the
Yeah.
server. Yeah. That game is really fun to play.
It's very fun.
and so
Bless you.
yeah,
Hey.
I think the game, it looks interesting to me. It will be a game that I will not be able to really engage with to my
Yeah.
satisfaction, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
there's no
thing.
way.
Is it looks great, but I'm like, what will I
right.
really
I think
get to
the
do?
idea of it is way cooler to me than my experience playing it would be.
So it's a Starfield. Man, I was stoked. Haven't even thought about touching it.
Yeah. Me either. I was really hyped, and
I think you guys should. I want other people to experience what I experienced.
I don't know. I feel like I say that to you about stuff and then you don't touch it. So I don't know if I should give that
Yeah,
to
but you do that with good games.
You still haven't touched Hollow Knight, a game that I know you would love.
I know,
Like,
and
that's-
I am not recommending it because I think it's good. I
want to
want other
suffer
people
with
to play
somebody.
it because I want to see if other people have the same experience that I did.
Yeah, that, you know.
It'll be fixed in 5 years, you know.
I don't think it will.
When are they adding in mods for consoles?
I don't think that will fix it.
Yeah.
I think there's a.
There
I don't
is-
think
there's
it'll
a-
fix it, but I
there's
think
a
it
key
will make
flaw
the game more
in-
enjoyable.
I mean, there could be mods to remove like
Yeah.
all of the loading screens. I guess.
we're forgetting that other small things that got shown was like Metaphor ReFantazio, which
Baby,
looked
that was
really
a trailer.
I need to rewatch that
Right
trailer.
into my
good. It
veins.
looked like a mix between a Warriors type fighting game and an RPG, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
It's definitely overworld. Like there seems to be a large overworld and combat that you can engage in that without going into turn-based battles, which is cool.
Do you
It
think you'll
looks neat.
download Fortnite to do Lego stuff?
It's
It's
unlikely.
very good.
You should
just
try
because
it.
of how large the download is.
It's very
Right, but we
fun.
could do it. It would be
Yeah.
fun.
It's very
and it's
fun,
like a
guys.
16. If we could get like
I
all
did
of
it.
us in there,
And then your backpack just stays there, and you come back and get your backpack.
yeah.
It's awesome.
So that's what Sid looks
It's
like.
awesome.
Cool.
There wasn't much else that
Metaphor
I was
ReFantazio did look cool.
Yeah,
Look
it's
wild.
it's gonna be the game that Chris gets into. It's gonna be
I
great.
am hitting my weeb. Grand Blue Fantasy in February, baby.
Is that a euphemism?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I gotta go hit my weeb.
My weeb.
There's
I watched
definitely-
Chainsaw Man. Come on, I'm getting there.
Yes, sir.
I'm getting
Slowly
there.
getting there.
Wild. We're in the Wild West here.
I know.
Yeah, dude. Maxwell Man
And,
are watching anime.
And if AI is the Wild West, who's the sheriff around here?
Anthony
Matthew
Mackie
McConaughey.
randomly saying that there's gonna be a season 2 of Twisted Metal
Yeah.
I
before
don't know
that's
if it's
been.
random.
I don't know if that was.
That's why he was there.
It was unannounced.
I don't know. It was. I feel like you announced something like that with more pomp and circumstance, maybe than.
Oh, you think he just let it
randomly.
slip?
I feel like he just kind of had
They did a
it
Tom
in the
Holland.
pocket and just let it out.
Maybe.
I was waiting for Samoa Joe to come out.
Dude, that would have been rad. Helldivers 2 had another trailer.
It was cool. Again, something we already seen
It's something
before.
we already knew.
Was it a trailer or was it a commercial? Who
Yeah.
can know?
Who can know? And that's about it. You know,
It was fun. It was a fun viewing.
It was way more
experience.
fun than last year.
Yeah, I really don't
Besides
remember
last year, I did guess that trailer was Transformers in the
And we
middle
all
of
popped
it.
off.
And then when it happened, we all popped. And
Yeah.
that, I'll forever have that in my heart.
Oh, we didn't talk. It's y'all show, but we didn't talk about the Hideo game.
Oh yeah.
We
In
did
that
briefly
Jordan,
we
because
did
we
briefly.
thought he was going to talk about Death Stranding too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And
just
instead
don't
he's
know
like,
how
hey,
to
here's a new
talk
game.
about
We don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't
just
understand.
that it has
It was a-
Hollywood actors in it.
It was a
Jordan Peele is
it was a bunch of
associated with it.
close-ups
We got
of
to see a
actors'
Sony
faces.
tech demo.
And they're saying weird cryptic
what was
things.
That? It was a Sony tech demo like 2 or 3 years ago where they showed the realistic old man face.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, God, I wish I knew that. Hold on.
Jordan Peele coming out was sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we
Demo.
that was
And
cool.
then them
knowing
saying that like other big name creatives are working on the game too, I guess.
Wow, this is too. The old man Quantic Dream PlayStation 4
Yes.
tech demo from 10 years
that was
ago.
yes, that
yeah.
was
But,
very
like-
long ago.
Quantic
but,
Dream.
but that's what it was them like looking into a camera
Saying cryptic
and,
things.
like the demon or whatever, like whatever, and then
It was
screaming.
like I think it was a kind of like the quick brown fox jumps over
Or the
the
lazy
lazy
dog.
dog type thing, but
Yeah.
it kept getting creepier and creepier.
Yeah.
The next people who said it.
Alan Wake.
and then
I was so. It's funny you say that because in my mind, and I'm not trying to spoil anything for my wife, but like, do you think because Alan Wake 2 did all the stuff that it did, he was kind of like, ugh, I gotta maneuver this a little bit
it could
because
be-
like
I mean,
what he was describing being done is what Alan Wake 2
Right.
already
it's
did.
It's a movie, but it's also a game.
I'm
and
like,
I'm like,
It's like I watched a
I just-
20-minute finished short film
just watched
in
it.
Alan Wake 2.
Andrea, there's no lie. Is at the
Listen,
end.
Listen,
I
there's
don't
no
know- I don't even-
I'm not giving
There's
you
no context
I
at all.
know. No, I
No
know.
context,
I know.
no
There's
spoiler.
like little mini movies.
No.
in
Yeah,
the-
There is a
it's
whole-
22 minutes.
It's a 22-minute.
And I don't even think it was real.
It was.
Yeah.
What do you mean it wasn't real?
Yacht and Yo.
Yacht and Yo.
I'm just saying.
I'll
I
pack
don't
my
know that it was
bags.
real. I'm fucking with it. I don't think it actually happened.
Yeah, but what he described, I'm like, no, bud. We just played a
Just
game,
the game.
that has all this stuff in it, buddy.
You're a little late.
Yeah.
I know you.
Hideo.
I know you
It's
said
really
we're too
funny.
dumb to understand Death Stranding, but like,
it's really funny. Kojima always is wanting to be this trendsetter
Yeah.
for the medium,
He
and
has-
I won't say that he doesn't succeed at it a lot of the times, but like it's really funny seeing someone else beat him to something for the punch. in this
he's
case,
soured on
so
me.
far.
Look,
as
but
I've gotten
I don't
older.
think it would be a problem if there wasn't a guy like Jeff Cayley who was trumpeting, like
Yeah,
parading him out in front of him, like, look at my friend and look at
Yeah.
the amazing things he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he was like just his own weird personality, who every once in a while popped was like, I have this trailer for this weird trailer for this game you have no
Yeah.
idea about.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, because Hideo Kojima has his little freaks.
Yeah.
Like,
Norman Reedus
yeah, he has the fans.
and Mads Mikkelsen.
Like he's like Nomura in that
I
he
mean, I
has
do
fans
love
of what,
Mads Mikkelsen.
but like he has the fans of what he does.
Yeah.
and they're deserved, and I don't think that he makes bad stuff. But the problem is, Nomura and some of these other people that we like don't have someone famous every time they make a move going, guys, this guy's changing the game. Like Jeff Cayley's basically his Flava Flav, just a hype
Right,
man,
man.
just like yelling
We could
about
all-
everything he does.
Man, we all deserve a hype man like Jeff Keighley.
yeah,
Yeah, I wish. I wish someone believed in me as much as he believes in at least himself, because that's a lot of faith. But
I mean, to be fair, he's succeeded in the things that he's.
Yeah.
he's
I know.
done.
I've been thinking a lot in the lead up to the Game Awards this year about the Spike TV Game Awards.
those were his too.
Those were his, exactly.
Yeah.
But just thinking, like, God, he's been doing this for
10 years.
a longer, because the Spike
Yeah, I guess
Awards were
I guess they
back to
don't
like
include
at
that in
least
the-
2004
in the history of the Game
or
Awards.
3 or something, maybe
It
even
was
earlier.
It was talked about a lot that this was the 10th anniversary,
yeah.
but I guess he has been doing it before then.
Regardless, I had fun with my friends.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was fun.
it was fun.
I enjoyed it.
And I think overall,
I enjoyed booing the awards that I didn't agree
Yeah.
Yeah,
with.
it's just it's a part of it.
Cheering for the
it's a spectacle.
crazy stuff that happened.
and I won't speak for everyone here, but at least for me, like I feel like I'm a lot more neutral or positive on the show for this year, just in general. Like in previous years, I think I had a lot more of a stake in certain things, or was very anti certain things. This year, I'm just kind of like, yeah, that seems about right, or with a few cases here and there of like, that's crap.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, especially the big stuff, I just like I'm like okay,
Yeah.
and then also I think I've gotten to a point where it's like my personal lists are
They're more important to
drastically
you
different and
Yeah.
more important
than
because like
big awards.
yeah. But you know, it's nice sometimes when
Yeah,
something you really love
yes,
gets a big award
it's,
too.
It's fun. It's fun.
Do you want to know what the
Good fun was had.
Do you want to know what the awards were for the first Game Awards
Yes.
in 2014?
Enlightenment.
Hit us with it.
Game of the Year, Developer of the Year,
Okay.
Best Independent Game,
Okay.
Best Mobile Handheld Game, Best Narrative,
God, I need that.
Best Score and Soundtrack, Games for
Oh
Change,
my God, best narrative. Yeah.
Best
Alan Wake
Performance,
2.
Best Shooter, Best
Yeah,
Action
Shooter used to be
Adventure,
one.
Best Role Playing Game, Best Fighting Game, Best Family Game,
So
Sports
got a few of
Racing,
these.
Best Online Experience, and Best Remaster.
Interesting.
Oh my
Best
God.
remaster.
What?
Yeah.
And Grand Theft
What
Auto
was-
5 won that.
That
Oh my
One was the game of the year.
In 2014. No, the best
Oh,
remaster.
best remaster.
Remaster.
God.
Also in that year, Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the
Yes,
Year.
I do remember that
And
actually.
Hearthstone
Oh, yeah.
was nominated.
People love
was huge.
Hearthstone, dude.
I know it was huge.
It was wild.
To bring
Best
everyone
remaster.
back, Shovel Knight was
GTA
not
5.
best independent game. Best narrative was Valiant Hearts: The Great War.
Oh,
that
dude, that-
game wouldn't have stood a chance.
No, that game
Those
is so sad.
Games like this don't get.
I need best narrative brought back for the Game Awards.
Games
going
for
forward.
Change was Valiant Hearts. Best performance was Trey Parker.
Was
for
there
the
not a
South
best
Park.
narrative this year?
No.
There
I
was.
thought Alan
It
Wake
was.
was.
There was?
Alan
No, it
Wake.
was-
What?
Yeah,
Wasn't it? It was Alan Wake.
I think it was.
I think it might be called something else.
Best direction.
Best shooter was Far
That's
Cry
an entirely
4
different
I
thing.
agree with
over Destiny, which is wild.
Yep.
Wow.
Choice.
Listen, say what
Okay.
you will about
you. Far
Destiny.
Cry 4 was a good game.
Sure,
But,
but
it's
like
not as good a
shooter.
shooter than
Like,
that.
listen,
I
say,
know
say
you
what
guys
will.
are obsessed with the gunplay.
Yes.
I've heard
Have you
I've read
heard?
the book. I've read the book. I get it. So yes, I'm just saying that
Bungie,
Far Cry
bro.
4 was a good game, but was it a better
Also-
shooter? No.
Also, 10 years ago, best family game was Mario Kart 8, which is
Yeah.
Still
which is
going.
still the best-selling game of like
Which
all
is still
time.
$60.
It's still $60.
That's crazy.
Still,
What a such a strange year to look back on in the 10 years.
And we're still waiting on GTA
we got
6.
we got
Okay.
freaking GTA 5 as a remaster, and the best racing game is Mario Kart 8.
Okay, you guys are right about best narrative still being at the awards this year. I have the memory of
well, it's also because
Alan Wake in the Dark
Alan
Place.
Wake in the Dark Place.
It's because it was just skipped over. Like it
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
wasn't.
it was.
It's
That's one of the ones that he just reads off a cue card.
which they did it last year. Wait, right? Hold on. Let me look at one last year. I know that this doesn't. No, 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure they had it on last year because it was God of War, and he loved having the God of War people on stage.
Yeah.
And the year before that, it was the Guardians game, and she she went
man.
Well deserved. Play Guardians of the Galaxy. You will love it. It's a little weird. It
Nah,
plays
dude.
oddly, but it is so
It's
good.
so good.
It is about family and trauma.
Yeah.
And God, I cannot recommend it
We're
enough.
all depressed.
Please.
It is weird that we're 10 years in and he's still trying to figure out the way to balance the rewarding the art for the art and also making sure there's room for lots of commercialism.
Yeah.
right. It's weird.
And you don't. I think they've been pretty good in the past of making you not notice it, but when they do like shuffle off people getting awards and reading out the stuff that's important to them after 15 seconds, it's like, what are we here for?
What are we
people?
And
prioritizing?
there was more fan voted awards in the past, like
Yeah.
most anticipated game, trending
greatest.
gamer and stuff were esports player.
I still think
Best fan creation, which was Twitch plays
Oh my
Pokemon.
Yeah, like
well they've shuffled out categories here and there. I think when there's not always going to be stuff that will fill a category. So I
Okay,
don't
go
know.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was,
There was a piece of news. I'm surprised it wasn't at the Game Awards, but there's a Beyond Good and Evil remaster that got leaked and released on the store, was available for download, and then taken off of the
What?
store.
There you go, man. You can play the
Like,
first one.
last
Look at that.
week.
But it got taken down.
yeah.
But it's like, it is coming, though.
It's coming in
Yeah.
like a month or two.
Yeah, and then they announced it.
So you'll get to
like,
play it.
But like
You'll get to
I
the first one.
assumed that was
Yeah.
going to be at the Game Awards, and it just was a whoopsie release. Someone at Ubisoft, instead of with place listing, hit go live, which is insane.
Amazing.
speaking of assuming would be at the Game Awards, I'm shocked that there was no GTA 6 tonight.
Oh, that's fine. I'm okay.
I'm not. I think that they made such a big deal of revealing it. After it got leaked, they're like, okay, we're going to control
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Control?
Yeah.
As much as I love Monster Hunter, that should have been the end
Yeah.
of the show.
I don't know. I think
GTA
the Monster
I think-
Hunter Wilds is I think a pretty big announcement because Monster Hunter World was enormous.
It was
Yeah.
enormous.
It was
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Capcom's most successful game in however long.
But then that year comes up and it just kind of deflates me a little bit.
Yeah. It's tough. I think there's never a good answer of what to put in that final slot. Like, although GTA 6 would have been it, if anything.
I mean, we've had some pretty good like enders before.
Yeah,
you know,
But there's
Fast
also
and
been bad
Furious?
ones.
Yeah.
Like,
like
Family.
Fast and the Furious, baby.
man, that Elden Ring DLC must really not be ready. They are
I
taking
saw-
their sweet time
I
with
saw a
it.
statement come out earlier this week or last week about it.
There's definitely, I think that there's announcements that from this show that could have been last instead of the Monster Hunter one and been just as big of a deal. But you know, it is what it is. But overall, it was fun. I'm glad we hung out and
Me
did
too.
this.
Yes, good times were had.
Yeah,
Alan Wake got lots of awards.
A good
I
time
agree.
was had by all.
they
I'm
did win a
famished.
lot. Spider-Man won very little, and
Zelda won an award.
an award.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm thankful that Zelda did not sweep this year.
Sure.
I-
I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I like Alan Wake 2 and Zelda. They're both very
Great.
close for my favorite game this year. But
Yeah.
I do think that it is a little weird. That's my take on it.
I hope in the future they give out the award for most anticipated game on stage and make someone come up and talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be a brilliant way to.
And they get to
Be
talk
hilarious.
however long they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Because it's the
end.
most anticipated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're all looking forward to it.
And the only thing that gets done after that is the game of the year,
what was the
right?
most,
Isn't
what was
it?
the most anticipated game?
Final
Final
Fantasy.
Fantasy.
Yeah, rightly so.
Yeah.
That's mine.
We are anticipating it.
Always.
Finally.
Mostly.
I can't believe it's coming out in February. I'm like,
It
beside
so
myself.
doesn't seem.
I
real to
finally
me.
got past the point where I thought it's coming out this year, which was the majority of this year. I thought it was
See,
coming out this year.
I'm at the point where I think like some part of me keeps going. It's gonna be out next winter, like a year from now, and so like that's why the February
at least
release date doesn't.
it
seem
will
real
surprise
to
you
me.
when it comes out.
Yeah, it will literally sneak up on me, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna
What
be
if-
at work that day, and be like, oh crap.
What if they had been trolling the whole time and put like February 30th or something?
Oh my
and no
God.
one noticed. Sorry.
Wow.
I do want an update on Hades 2. Give
Yeah.
me
Yeah,
a Hades
yeah.
2 update, please. Someone.
I didn't finish the first one, but I will.
Same. Listen, here's what we do. You and me, we
be
both
mean to me, dude.
We hang
I'm
out, we
not.
play it together at the same
I
time,
think more
and we
people
support
should
each
play
other
it.
I'm
through
gonna
it.
finish it.
Listen,
It's hard.
I'm not trying to.
Very hard.
It is hard, but I'm not trying to
It's
get good
hard.
you at all. But I did start a new save on my Xbox and got to the third land on the first try. But it's
Must be
because
nice.
I'm
The
used.
good news is you probably won't have to finish it to play Hades too, since
Yeah,
it's a new
exactly. It's
character.
an entirely new game.
Hades is.
But it would probably be enriched by playing the first
Sure.
game,
Oh yeah,
as all sequels typically are.
but I also know all of that stuff like the back of my hand at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Fair.
all right. Well, we are going to have an Alan Wake spoiler cast before the end of the year. I promise. I'll drag Chris to the house. Or we'll come here and force him to do it while Andrea's doing CrossFit or something.
Well, you have about an hour.
Well, yeah.
I don't know
luck
if
with
that's
that.
long enough to talk
Good
about.
luck with that.
We'll-
You have to do it at your house.
And we'll do our game of the year. I have ideas. We have to talk about how we're going to do it. But those two will be out before the end of the year, hopefully. I think we have enough time. And we will talk at you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
See ya.